And people were like what? Name them. And I just never got back to him because I just didn't want to. So now I'll just point everybody to this.
Now we'll just point them to this list, yeah.
And I'll just be like, play literally any game.
And I will not.
That Scott played, including NBA Jam, and it's better than Diablo Immortal.
I didn't play. I'm not going to spend a
ton
of
ARPG.
No, that'd be amazing. But I didn't play these, or I won't talk about them as much as it looks like that list would be talked about, because I don't have tons of new things to say about them. It's more in service of, did they scratch the itch I was aching for? And why did it, at the end of almost all of them, did I just end up right back in V-Rising anyway? I mean, there's a whole thing there. There's a mentality going on there that we'll get to. All right. We got to
prepare for some old man whining today. All right. Can I just go pee real quick?
Yeah, go pee.
You got him through the pre-show.
Got him through the pre-show. This is the P-show.
Yep.
And
Cone Chap, I think you have a great question in the chat. And Scott, we should try to remember to make this a topic. We certainly can't today. We got too much to talk about. But did anyone dip into Steam's big demo week? I didn't. In fact, I saw it and was like, oh, it's so cool that they do that. And then didn't download anything. And I have found that I am less and less inclined to play demos, whereas it used to be something that was very important to me. I think it would be really cool to talk about that, because
what do you think?
I think there's reasons for that.
What do you think? Well, without getting into it and making this the topic at the moment while he pees, what do you think, that something changed for you and that you don't care about demos as much?
I think that there's such a there's so much choice in what to play that's actually out, or even early access, right? Like, because early access is sort of like a demo, but we kind of treat them like they're real games, even though they're technically not out. That I can't see myself sitting down and going, yeah, I need a preview of something, when I already know in the back of my mind I'm ignoring 8 other games that are demanding my attention right now.
Yeah. No,
I think that's the biggest reason for
totally me. Get that. I'm a little more, I guess that's part of my problem too. But once in a while one will go, ooh, you must see me and see what I'm about and play me. And in those cases I'll make an exception and see if it's something I'm going to look forward to or not. But
it's just weird, because it used to mean a lot to me. Like, I used to play demos all the time. Used to have, I see it in the chat, PC Gaming Magazine, play all the demos on the disc.
Yeah.
Like, it used to be an important part of gaming for me, was playing demos. I remember Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, that first demo of that. I probably put more hours into that than if you took my time with the Need for Speed series as a whole and added it up. I probably spent more time playing that demo than the entire game series in total. Like, I played the hell out of it.
So what you're saying is you like demos before they were cool. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, well, I like to think that that's when demos were cool. That was it.
Yeah.
But now it's just hard. Like, it feels weird to sit down and go, oh, I'm gonna play a demo for something. But it's like, yeah, but I also know that Scott talked me into buying a game and I haven't played it yet, and I bought it like a big idiot.
Yeah. Well, I hope you're not a big idiot. I'm anxious to hear your thoughts on the one I think you're talking about today.
I didn't play it very much, so I'm not going to have a ton of thoughts, but I mean, it's basically going to confirm what you said about it. Like, good. I think it's real cool.
All right. I'm usually careful I try to do this on the show. Like, if I know something is totally my jam, but you guys, there's no way you're going to like it, I'm not going to push you guys at all, because I know the difference. Like, if you really liked a tower defense game but truly felt like it might transcend for me and make me go, oh, finally a tower defense game that I might enjoy, there's 2 different ways of presenting that, and I think you're pretty good at that too. You would know how to say it. So usually I make, my recommendations aren't always going to hit with everybody, but I think Card Shark, it was going to be a pretty easy get for both of you.
Yeah.
I did notice this, by the way, while we wait for the longest P in the history of Bo's existence.
Maybe it escalated into a 2.
It might have been a 2. We started at 1. Now we're here. What was I going to ask? Oh, I noticed your castle's like right up top center. Or am I looking? Yeah. Or maybe I just saw your body up there. Is your castle right up in the middle?
No, my castle is the foresty region. It's in like the northwestern corner of it.
So you moved from where you originally were.
Yeah, because originally I was in the south, like kind of southern center.
Oh wow. Was
edge.
that mean you had to rebuild all your like machines and everything?
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
So for a while I had two castles, and I would just run stuff where I needed it as I needed it.
Yeah.
And then eventually I was like, well, my new castle has everything that my old castle has now, finally.
So you can just disassemble your old one.
Yeah, I have no reason to go back there. So I went through and, cleared out anything that was redundant and then just took the castle apart so somebody else could have the area.
Wow. This is the most John-ass thing I've ever heard, because this is what you do with like character creation. You'll spend 9 hours in character creation and 2 hours in the game that the character's in.
I also have no loyalty to like time spent in a shocking way. Like the amount of max level characters I've just deleted in like World of Warcraft and stuff like that is kind of insane. Like even Final Fantasy 14, a notoriously long game to get through, I have 2 max level characters in it and I don't play one of them.
Oh wow.
Like I made the character, I started over, and like that first character is completely ignored, and I could probably delete it. It's just out of sight, out of mind, because it's on a different server.
Wow.
So
you're a monster.
I just like I have no loyalty to it. Same way with moving. Like I feel like I've moved so many times recently, and every time I move, I purge a ton of stuff, and every time I move, I still like have more stuff to just throw out. I'm like, well, I didn't watch these 15 movies. Why am I keeping these? Just throw them out. Get rid of them.
Sure. Makes sense to me.
Which my wife gets mad at because I'm extremely like wasteful. I don't put much value on like material things. Like that's not a brag. Like I acknowledge this is a bad habit because I'll take stuff that somebody might want or find value in, and I'll just go throw it in the dumpster.
Sure.
And she's like, give it to Goodwill. Like, don't just go throw it in the garbage. That's not a good thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is quicker. I don't have to take a trip. Just get it out of the house. Get rid of it. I'm done with it.
Yeah.
Just go.
I feel you. I'm more that way. The older I've gotten, the more I am that way. I think you're an old soul.
Oh, a little bit. I felt bad because I was talking to my stepdaughter today, and I was like trying to convince her to get rid of some of her stuff because neither of the kids really wanted to give up a whole lot for the move, but we knew they needed to because there's a ton of stuff just sitting in the closet going unused. And so I was like, you gotta get rid of stuff. And they didn't get rid of anything before we moved. We ended up moving all of it.
Ugh.
So now it's time to hook stuff up and get everything out of boxes. And now, of course, this is what we knew was going to happen. They don't have places for all of it because they didn't get rid of anything.
Yeah.
So now it's at the point where it's like, okay, well, something has to go because you can't just live out of boxes.
Yeah.
So, now you have to make decisions, and it's really hard for them. But, we want to get away from, that hoarder mentality and stuff like that. And so, we had some very serious discussions today about like, hey, keep things that have value to you, keep things that are important. But like I said, we can hook up a console to your TV. And she's like, but I don't want to get rid of my Xbox 360. And I was like, well, do you want the Xbox 360 or do you want a PS4? Well, I want the PS4, but I really like my Xbox 360. And it's like, okay, but we're only hooking one up. Which one do you want?
Yeah.
I'll let you have whichever one you want, but you got to pick.
Yeah.
And she had a really hard time with it. And it even got to like, she was very upset because she's like, well, some of these games mean a lot to me. And I was like, well, come here. And I showed her, I was like, look, I got all the Final Fantasies on like PlayStation and PlayStation 2 and stuff like that. Yeah. I was like, I don't have a PlayStation. I don't have a PlayStation 2. Yeah. I said, it's okay to hold on to things for sentimental reasons if it means a lot to you. Like, that's fine. I said, but you don't need the whole system and all the cords and to have it hooked up, especially if you're not playing it, which you never did. Yeah. And she was like, yeah, that's true. So she came around and was like, yeah, I want the PS4. Let's get rid of this 360 that's, just collecting dust.
Aging, not playing it. Sure.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It's good. It's an important skill to have. I mean, I think everybody falls into that like both sides of the trap. You hold on to something much longer than you need to, and it's just a waste of space and a waste of time. But then I think we've all done the thing where we've thrown something away and then gone, oh shit, that was valuable, or oh shit, I needed that, and had regrets for it. And I think as long as you keep it healthy, that's fine. But I've also known quite a few hoarders in my day, so it's a genuine fear for me to get into that mentality.
Dude, hoarding's it's a nightmare.
Yeah,
it's a nightmare.
It's really bad.
Yeah, an unending one for a lot of people. I feel you. All right, well, let's fill ourselves straight into Showtown. We're gonna make this happen.
Bo's back.
Oh, hi, Bo.
Yeah, I've been back for a while.
Did you have a big pee, or what was the deal there?
No, I've been back for a while.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it still seemed like a long pee. I could be wrong. I don't know. What is the average pee? I don't know.
Do you want details? Or
no.
Did it escalate?
Did chunks? Was there chunks?
Yes,
What happened?
It escalated because I'm like, we're gonna be here till 3 a.m.
I told you it escalated, Scott.
I mean, I just ate and I felt fine, and then like 30 minutes in, it's usually like, hey, the digestive system's kicked in. Need some room.
Well, that's good. I'm glad I probed further and to find out more. All right, let's do the show.
No regrets.
No regrets. That's good. No regrets. All right, here we go. It is a show, and it begins. Oh shit. Yeah, here we go. In 3. I'm more ready than I thought he was. In 3, 2, 1. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Core. This is Core for Thursday, June 16th, 2022. I'm Scott Johnson with Bo Schwartz and John Jagger, and we are prepared to try, at least, and make summations about all the video game stuff that dropped in the last week and a half. It was a little crazy. Turns out with E3 gone, it was still enough stuff, maybe more stuff than your typical E3 tends to drop for all of us at home covering this sort of thing. So we're going to do that today to the best of our ability and try not to obsess about blood essences for the next couple hours, okay? We're going to try. Even though I kind of want to, but we won't. We're going to get right to it.
The best part about...
What are you going to say? What are you going to say? Give me the...
I was going to say, the best part about doing Core right now is both you and John are off Dally Mini, so I can have a turn using it. That's great.
That's good. No, it's the sensation burning a hole through America right now and the world. Dally Mini and its stupid AI algorithms. All right, we're going to get straight into it. There's a lot to cover, and it was kind of almost hard to know where to start. Thankfully, Bowen in here and just like loaded this thing up and highlighted kind of the areas we're most interested in. But we're going to mention a lot of things here, so we'll just sort of get at it. Just a little while ago, Square did a thing. Do we call them Square? Do we still call them Square Enix? I mean, they're still Square Enix. They just sold off. Yeah, they sold off the other stuff. Doesn't change their name.
I thought we settled on Squeenix.
Did we? Okay. Squeenix,
Yeah,
there it is.
Blow your nose in the Squeenix.
Their Final Fantasy, 11? No, 12.
7.
12?
7.
11.
7.
7.
The number 7.
Wait.
VII.
Oh, VII is 7. I was making the V and X in my head for some reason. The 25th anniversary celebration is happening, and along with that, they confirmed that FF7 Remake is coming to Steam. So all of you who are holding off forever, you can now get it on Steam. It's, of course, been on the... when it first hit PC, it stayed over there on the Epic Store. I don't know what deal they made, but they clearly made one. And prior to that, PlayStation 4 and 5 were the places to get it. But soon, Steam. Crisis Core is getting a remaster. I have zero knowledge even of what Crisis Core was. John, do you want to...
Yeah, it was a PSP game, I believe, originally. It was kind of a prequel to Final Fantasy VII, and it's getting a little up-res, prettying up, and re-released on, it looks like, most major consoles.
Okay, so that's a thing.
Or most consoles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool. And then Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is part 2 of the trilogy. And also this confirmed it's a trilogy, right? We didn't know that before.
Yeah, we didn't know that. We just knew that it was going to be more than one game to tell the retelling / sequel of Final Fantasy VII.
I think it's pretty confirmed that it's not an actual remake. This is a continuation of the story of Final Fantasy VII.
So you don't think they're gonna? This isn't gonna be like because that already isn't a note for note, even in the first part.
They already
it's
are.
already different.
Yeah.
The trailer, which wasn't as hot as the first trailer, in terms of its wow factor, all the wow factors in their literal addressing of Aerith. Like the dialogue's literally like, "I thought you died, but you didn't."
Yeah.
Pretty much. That's literally the trailer, and you're going like,
this is not
okay,
subtle.
so they're just ripping that off. They're not going to make us wait to find out. They're putting that right on the advertisement. Like, you know, nerds get ready to be mad. It's, you know, but I think they're just trying to. Yeah. Anyways, one could easily sit down in a meeting and say, like, guys, we called the first one remake, but we're not remaking the game exactly. So it's kind of a big like tease, but it's still good. I'm still in.
Yeah. Are you in as much though?
Think it's not a remake. I think it's that remake is just the title of the first in the trilogy. This is called Rebirth.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not Final Fantasy VII Remake 2.
No.
It's Final Fantasy VII Rebirth because it's not it's a sequel.
They're birthing it again.
Another entry. It's another entry into Final Fantasy VII and not a remake.
Okay.
And then we don't know what the third one's going to be, but if 2 doesn't go well, we'll jokingly call it refund.
I predict, refund. I mean, I predict basically that the mother thing destroyed the planet and caused time to splice, magic bullshit, yada yada, and now we have to fight the real end boss, the last one or something like that.
Okay, but none of this is as bad as the I'm here to kill chaos stuff, right? Like we're
no, of course not.
Okay,
of course not.
No, this is this isn't that tongue in cheek kind of like this is Final Fantasy being its endearing full self. But it is weird. Like that is what made Final Fantasy VII Remake so interesting was there was this vague notion, and now it's pretty much confirmed that like certain characters seemed aware that this had happened before. And that there was an outside force that does not exist in the original game. That whenever events seemed like they were going to happen differently than how they happened in 7, there was this outside force that forced it back on the path.
Got it.
And
so it's Matrix. It's Matrix 4. We're playing.
Yeah,
Matrix
like 4. The souls of all the Final Fantasy VII fanboys manifest in the game and push the game back to being just a complete remake of the original game.
Okay,
that's one way to look at it. They're ghosts, so a bunch of ghosts make events happen the way they did.
Sure,
you know, I think that's a fair way to look at it.
Okay. I mean, the first one was really well received. I see no reason why 2 and 3 of a trilogy won't be equally well received. You'll have some people still angry that we're not doing a true turn-based combat system, or that they changed a bunch of story shit or whatever. But I mean,
I was in for a full remake, but
yeah, we know what you wanted, and I wanted what you wanted.
I enjoyed the first one, so I'm still in. So
I wanted what you wanted, but I like the combat in this. Maybe not more than turn-based, but I like it more.
I'm fine with the combat. Like I'm fine with like certain things changing, but it's like the story was, to me, the story is the most memorable out of any Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Personally, so I want that story again, but looking cool. That's a novelty, but I have a feeling it's as we get farther along, it's gonna veer more and more. Like they're not gonna do. Golden Saucer is probably not going to be what it is, and that's probably a good thing. But
yeah.
Man, I want to see a nice, pretty version of that gold saucer. I mean, don't get me wrong. I spend a lot of time in a nice, pretty-looking golden saucer in a different Final Fantasy, but there's like that one was.
Yeah,
there's a whole 2 hours of dialogue on like a roller coaster or something like that. In that one, like it's,
yep.
It's a long segment. There's lots of good stuff.
Yeah, and chat room asked an interesting question. If Sony is going to buy, and they are, if they were going to buy Square, not that they are, but if they were, would that speed things up? I don't know, maybe. Sometimes money getting injected into your company means suddenly things get real speedy, but you could ask the same question about all the acquisitions Microsoft's made. I don't know that we have any evidence that everything's faster in production. I think they're still limited by whatever they're limited by, but maybe. I don't know.
They confirmed they're making 3 at the same time as they're making 2. Like the work has started. I imagine that was true of 1 and 2 as well, but
like when they shot the Lord of the Rings original trilogy, they just filmed the whole damn thing, and
I'm pretty sure they knew what they were in for in the pipeline of the whole project.
Sure.
So,
well, speaking of pipelines, Overwatch 2 showcase happened today, in fact. And so we're going kind of back in time here. We're starting with what's happening recently, and then we'll keep working our way back. Overwatch 2 will be free to play. They're getting rid of loot boxes. It will be October 4th is the release date, so it's actually not very far off. 3 new heroes will be added by then. Heroes rebalanced for 5v5, 6 new maps, new game modes, 30 plus skins, new mythic skin tier. They'll work in seasons, new types of cosmetics, gun charms, for example. Season 2 will start December 4th with a battle pass and in-game store. Let's see. Basically, you follow the Heroes of the Storm business model. That's what it sounds like to me, which is fine.
Yeah, I find it a little bit weird that they're ditching loot boxes. Now, keep in mind, this is the same company that has ditched loot boxes in Diablo Immortal, but they're actually in the game.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do a rift, and then so basically you purchase the box, you do a rift, and then you get your loot box items at the end of the rift.
Yeah.
So because there's a skill-based contest between purchase and items, that gets around loot box litigation or complaints, except for 2 places who still recognize it as such.
Yeah.
Netherlands and some other one.
Yeah.
But I'm a little. There's a big question mark hanging over. Like, what will I have to do a campaign map? Will I have to fight some dudes? And then, I don't see how there's a mythic skin tier. I don't see how there's skin rarities unless it just justifies price, I guess.
Well, I mean, to me, everybody wants to compare this to.
Okay.
They want to compare this to other Blizzard games, but I would compare it more to something like Fortnite. Fortnite lives and dies by skins. That's how they do it.
Yeah, and Fortnite, it's basically further into the battle pass you go, is where your rare items are.
Yeah.
So in other words,
okay.
Yeah, you have to play more, you get further. It's not RNG so much as you stuck with it longer.
Yeah, Mythic might just have a specific meaning for me because in Magic, there's a rare in every pack, but there's only a Mythic one in every 8 packs or so.
Yeah.
So it just, it's loot box language. That's why I'm just like, oh, what? But,
In fact, the concept that they discussed for mythic skins is also directly ripped from Fortnite, which is the idea of skins that are somewhat modular, where you can add elements to it and from it. So, for example, they put the Mandalorian in Fortnite ages ago, but this is the last time I played, so this is what I know.
Yeah.
And by default, he had that look that he had in the first episode. But then as you played more along the battle pass and all of that, you unlocked pieces of the actual, silver Mandalorian armor and could add it to him. So that by the end, you had the full silver look. But at the beginning, you kind of had that, kind of rough, generic look that he had.
Mythic might be an easy way to communicate that meaning to customers. Like Mythic means, not just a skin, but modular.
I have a feeling that they are going to do a lot that will look a lot like Fortnite basically came in the shadow of this and said, well, we're going to be free to play and we're also going to be mega huge and we're going to do all these things to make money, and they made, billions. I think they're going to follow that playbook. So it's fine with me. I don't care. I think it's fine.
There's only one disconcerting aspect to this because, it's Overwatch. It's kind of the same game, honestly. I know they're hyping up a lot, but it feels the same. But they sort of started off the Overwatch 2 announcement really pushing the PvE elements, and I find that we've gone this long, and I feel like the PvE stuff is really backburnered. Yeah. I'm going to reserve judgment till launch, but I'm starting to get the feeling like it's going to be brawl level content. Like the multiplayer is the primary mode, and then in Heroes we got weekly brawl. Sometimes it was a little story based multiplayer.
They are awfully quiet about it.
That's the impression I got as well, because they talked about it in PR terms of that discussion of we've really expanded it. They use a lot of language that suggests it's getting bigger, when in fact, when you think about it, it's probably smaller than what you thought it was going to be. Because the implication is that every time they do a new season, there's going to be more PvE story to tell.
Yeah.
So my guess is okay, here's our first season and we're going to tell the story of Overwatch coming back together, and that consists of maybe a couple of PvE maps that you can run solo or with a friend, which is certainly not a mode.
That's not what we were. That's not what we thought we were going to
the
get.
full announcement that it's free to play.
Yeah,
means they don't have a campaign that's worth charging $60 for.
Yeah,
which I sort of assumed there'd be a box, right? So.
Yeah, we all did. I don't think any of us thought the free to play thing came to me as a surprise. I didn't know that was happening. I'll bet
I
that
think
was like
it
a late
makes sense
stage
for their
choice.
PvP. It makes sense for PvP.
Yeah.
It's but not for don't expect a Borderlands level amount of content in a PvE game if they're going free to play. I think that's unlikely.
They are
Yeah, and I
claiming.
think there were some people that might have thought that because
I
they
thought
did
that.
get quiet about it. When they kind of announced it, and everybody was making their "why is this called a sequel instead of an expansion pack" joke. I think a lot of people hung their hat on, well, wait till you see what the PvE content's going to be before you make that joke
100%.
and that comment.
Yeah.
And now I think they're shying away from it and leaning into this free to play because the answer is it's going to be pretty dry. And I'm not to say that people who are going to be in on Overwatch 2 aren't going to like it, but it's certainly not going to get people that were maybe going, well, I'll play it if the PvE is good. It's not going to
I
get
wanted
those
a
people.
4-player campaign, Vermintide, Darktide, but shooter. Reason to play PvE with my friends.
We're not going to get that.
With
Yeah.
Blizzard
Yeah.
quality, and if I'm not getting that, then that changes the
I don't think we're going to get
conversations.
that. I could be wrong. Maybe they'll surprise us at launch, but it does not sound like we're going to get that, at least at this stage.
No, it sounded like it would be served in drips, right? Like when they would talk about seasons, they talked about introducing narrative as the game evolves as well. So
yeah, my other thing is this is the right thing for them to do in terms of let's make the game a platform and a growing and a living one. Every season, new characters. Every season, new skins to buy. Like you're truly taking this and turning it into more than just here's our game that's multiplayer that you paid $40 for. This is an ongoing thing. I think they could have done this with one, so it's still a little bit weird in that way. But I still think from a business angle and a longevity angle, this is probably the right move. From a multiplayer perspective entirely, right? If you're looking at this from like what we want, which is some of that sweet me and Bo and John and Kyle rolling up, and playing Vermintide all night, it's not happening, I don't think.
Yeah, I think it depends on who you are. I mean, I've certainly been the harshest critic of Overwatch 2 between all of us. And to me, this solidified, okay, this is a game I don't care about. I'm not interested. I had my fun with Overwatch. It was a good time. It has not evolved or changed in a way that I'm interested to spend any more time with.
Yeah.
And I don't think new heroes back when I played didn't change that for me. They're not going to change it for me now. But there are people that like it. I do think that it's interesting if you watch reaction to it. It definitely seems very split. You've got a lot of people just going, yeah, it's fine. This is what I want. I just want more Overwatch 2. And you got a lot of people that I think were hoping for more that are going, nah, this is shitty. This isn't good. I'm not interested in it now. And I can understand both perspectives. Like if you're in on Overwatch, you're probably going to be in on Overwatch 2. If you were hoping for something to bring you back to the game, honestly, I would be surprised if this game does, or at least does for very long.
Interesting. Mike, I can tell you, just this is not any hard evidence or anything, but my kids and their in a couple of cases their significant others, they could not be more excited about Overwatch 2. They're beyond. I can't even console them. Telling them it's October pisses them off because they want it sooner. Like that's how excited they are. I think there's a big contingent of players that are really jazzed about whatever the game's next step is. So, as much as it may interfere with the my want for what I want out of a game that I've played a ton of already, I think they're probably making the right move for the game. I don't know.
Yeah, well, subject matter aside, like it's definitely like I would say probably the younger generation, at least people of that age I talk to as well, are they're more plugged into diversity and representation. I think that game sort of fits this, prequel Star Wars. Like it's hitting them in their youth. Like this is they'll be 50 one day going like Overwatch is their nostalgia, right?
Yeah.
Like they're at that age where this thing is there. Like this thing is there when their brains are forming, and it reflects what are more commonly values. In the 80s, it was Predator. We're all like, Predator's such a good movie. I'm like, it's a homophobic, homoerotic, like murder fest. Like it's not like when I talk to people in their 20s now, it's not what they're into, but that was the best thing ever for people when you're in your 20s in the 80s, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think it actually I think that's the thing when we talk about these games, we talk about them from the perspective of our age.
Yeah.
And, that I think Overwatch just resonates with a different group. And I think it's a good game if you like if that's what you're into.
That being
They also
said,
haven't lived long enough to be burned the way we have. They'll get there.
They'll
They'll
get there.
realize.
Well,
They'll realize what a ripoff this is eventually. They'll go,
it
oh, you know
doesn't
what?
matter. I mean,
It
Transformers are
is
so
bad.
dumb, and I will love them till the day I die. Like, but they're so dumb, right? It's a dumb. It's just a commercial for extra toys stuff that they had to. It's the dumbest plot. It's the dumbest stuff ever. And Generation 1 Transformers will still be the greatest generation. The greatest generation.
Dude, I'd love.
I mean, I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
laugh,
I
but
love the
no matter how
Transformers.
many remakes and reimaginings I can do, I can be like, you're all shit compared to the first generation. They're the best.
But I'll tell you, the Quake / Team Fortress / Doom player in me loves Overwatch. So I think there's some crossover there. And I'm actually, maybe of the three of us, I'm actually the most excited, I think, for Overwatch 2. As much as I'm disappointed about the potential of the watered down single player thing we were promised. I'll have a good time, and I won't have to spend a bunch of money to do it. So I don't have to invest. I can just play and let's go.
Yeah. I love the art and animation. Like, I think it's just world class. Like the sound, music, sound, art, storytelling.
Yeah, it's
There's
great.
so much here that's world class.
Yeah.
It's like GI Joe.
It's just not my. It's just not my favorite. It's just not my favorite. Like, I don't like. Just it doesn't matter. It's just a personal taste thing. I just know. I
But
play more MOBAs.
Here's
stuff.
the problem I have with what you said, Scott, and I could be wrong about this. It's not out. I don't know. But I'm gonna talk like I do. You say like, hey, at least I'm gonna get in and not have to pay a bunch of money just to have that fun. And initially, when you said that, I was like, yeah, that's a good point. For free now, I can find out. But I thought about it, and it's like, no, because you know what? If they're gonna monetize this around like a battle pass or something like that, it's gonna make I'm already sick of the triviality of the push the payload matches. Like, it's not doing it for me to just go in and play the same match types over and over again with the same heroes over and over again. Like, that's already not enough. Now you're going to add that it's going to feel extra bad because I'm not unlocking anything unless I buy into your battle pass. Like, that's an extra level pass.
Well, they'll have the battle pass will be there for everybody, and then they'll have that second tier one like everyone does. So
yeah,
think Fortnite.
Exactly. And guess what? The first free tier feels bad. It's programmed to feel bad because you sit there and you watch yourself not unlock anything match after match after match going, well, if I do 15 more matches, I get a postcard.
Yeah, but is that better or worse?
You're not their customer. Like, you're not going to play. Like, the fact that if they catered it to you, you're still not going to give them the money because you're not into the game anyways.
It's true. It's true. But my point is that saying like, well, at least I can get in and find out for free. No, I don't think you can. I think if you want to have a good experience with this, you're going to drop money on it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know.
That's fair, but I will say this. I don't know why that's any worse or better than loot boxes. I thought loot boxes were the worst because that progression you're talking about in the last game, that sucked. Getting duplicates all the time.
Yeah, it also sucked. Free-to-play games, anytime somebody puts a free-to-play mechanic in a game, they make a worse game for it. That's what I'm saying.
Hard for me to disagree with that.
I don't think that's true.
I hate loot boxes with a passion, so I kind of agree there.
I think subs are good. I think finding a way to make a palatable sub, I think this is the way. It's cosmetic only. Like, and I think free to play is important because we need people. We need to entice people to play. And
I mean, we'll see.
A box price is a hurdle.
It is, and it was certainly one for me because I was like, well, hell, if I'm going to pay for this game, but I don't know. I just to me the oppostic like I'm going to get in for free is.
I mean, you got into Heroes for free. We did a show about it for 6 years. They didn't have, and their battle pass was actual dog shit. Like you got extra points.
But that's what I'm saying is like in every case it's bad. I'm not trying to say loot boxes were good and this is worse. I think battle passes are better than loot boxes, but I am saying that I don't think that makes battle passes good.
What if they just called it a monthly subscription? Would you feel a bit differently about it? Because it's really not that different. Right, you're getting something.
It depends on what you get. Like subs do a lot of different things.
Yeah,
like Patreon supporter. You know what I mean? Like I think on some level, I've said. I mean, I can't really say a sub is bad. Like it obviously sucks. I don't like the way they implemented it in Diablo Immortal. but like a single sub, maybe a second tier. I'm not a big fan of many tiers of subs. I think one sub fee should be all there is, but
Yeah, I don't like
it's
the
free to
tiered
play.
Like
subs.
at the end of the
Sub
day,
is
it
the
depends on
easiest.
what they do with it. Like a
You go to a
loot
golf
box,
course, you got to have a membership. You go to Ski Hill, you got to have a membership. You want to go to Overwatch Club, you got to have a membership. You don't even have to have a membership, actually. They let the plebs in for free.
Yeah.
But, same difference, really.
But if you want to have the best possible time in this golf course, you might want to belly up to the thing. Now, if they come out, they come up with like, hey, we've got 14 tiers of Battle Pass, I will be beyond annoyed, and that'll make me just not want to go near this. If they come out with a Battle Pass and it's like, hey, $10 Battle Pass like everybody else, you want in? Yeah, I probably would if I'm playing it a bunch.
You're right that they prey on FOMO. Like, I mean, there's nothing to be done about that. Like the FOMO aspect, because like I know I have that problem in Hearthstone. I like to log in and play every now and then, and they have a battle pass, and I'm like, oh sweet, diamond cards. I want diamond cards, and I'm like, I'm gonna play this for 2 days and be done. Like, don't buy the battle pass, Bo. Save the $12 Canadian, And I sometimes I fall victim to it, and I blow $12 on 2 days of Hearthstone because I want the level 1 back. I just don't see how you get away from it, like. Because cosmetics are the safest version of Battle Pass. Because otherwise, it's game impacting mechanics. So that's we gotta compromise somewhat.
In the case of like a MMO like World of Warcraft, where they charge you a monthly fee, or any other MMO for that matter, that does charge a thing. We could pick that apart too and say, well, this should include the $25 mounts you're selling on your store. If I'm paying the sub, I should get like. Every business model has shit in it. All of them do.
Here's the thing. I think we've gotten off of what I said because you guys are arguing against something I didn't say. I'm not trying to say that like all games should be free and awesome and perfect and there should be no buy-in. I'm saying that the statement that at least we can get in and have fun for free is not necessarily true depending on the structure of the battle pass.
Oh, I see what you mean.
It might be a worse buy-in than what even loot boxes were, but it might be better. Like the problem is we don't know because yes, you can monetize a loot box to be good and fair. You could go, if you got a loot box in Heroes of the Storm and it was programmed to guarantee give you something that you didn't already have, like it just knew and was going to give you that and was guaranteed to give you a legendary item, like they can program it to where it feels good. Like anything can be monetized that way and anything can be monetized the other way where it's not valuable at all. Like we don't know what they're going to do. We don't know if there's going to be just a regular battle pass and a paid battle pass. We don't know how they're going to monetize it yet. So maybe I was jumping the gun and being critical, but I certainly understand they need to make their money somewhere and they should be allowed to make their money somewhere. Every live game, I think it's unreasonable to expect games to be supported till the end of time. But how do you pay the people that are working on these games if those games don't have a source of revenue coming into them?
Yeah.
I certainly don't think all games need to be free. I just want to ultimately feel like whatever they do, be it a battle pass or something else, or even if it was a subscription, I want it to feel better than what the loot boxes did. And right now, this is coming from a company, Blizzard, which is just now dipping its toe in a lot of free-to-play markets and not getting the greatest publicity in the world around it. And I don't trust them. So if I'm coming across pessimistic, it's from a well-earned, deserved reputation that they themselves gave themselves quite recently.
It's hard to argue with that, actually. I mean, I have the same trepidations, but this is one I'm willing to wait and see on. So let's see how it goes.
No, we'll have lots more time to argue about this. It's launching in October, so we got 2 months.
Oh hell yeah, we got all kinds of stuff to talk about. And speaking of which,
4 months.
Xbox also did their big showcase. I put up a big long file of commentary around it. A lot of you have probably heard that. We're not going to focus on everything they showed here. We may mention a few extras, but we're going to get mainly where we want to be in terms of things that interest us, okay? Or the things that interest us most, or also the biggest deals, like Starfield, for example. No arguing that that's meant to be a big, gigantic deal. This is the first Xbox exclusive from Bethesda since the acquisition. and also a game that's been in development for years and years and years, well ahead of that acquisition. And they showed a whole bunch more. And we had a bunch of commentary, live commentary about it that we put up on the feed in case you didn't hear it, though. It basically came down to this. It looks a lot like a Bethesda game, RPG. It looks like one set in space. I thought it looked very nice. John had a bunch of problems with...
I knew I was going to get labeled as not liking it.
Well, no, I think I mean, who knows? But you don't love the art style, and that's cool. It's totally fine.
No, I don't think it looks good. So I promise everybody listening, I will be positive about something at some point in the show. But for the moment, let me extra old man hat myself, and I'm going to double down. You know what? When we finished that, I was like, man, Bo and Scott were really on my ass about not liking the way this game looked. And I felt bad, and I let you guys talk me into being like, oh, it's hopeful. Like, let me be positive about it. You know what? No. Fuck that. I'm going to just double down and just flat out say, I don't think Starfield looks very good yet. And I am not 100% sure that game's going to be good. I hope to be proven wrong, but I don't like the art style. I don't like the muted color palette. I don't think it looks like anything above anything else that Bethesda has put out. The shooting looks bad, and I hope to be proven wrong, but right now, that game, at least I get to try it for free.
Wow. Yeah, that would be because it'd be on Game Pass. Game Pass Day 1.
You can't deny that the bugs will be world class. This is a Bethesda joint after all.
Yeah, there will be bugs beyond any bugs you've ever seen, and you'll be blown away by them. No, I don't know. Like it's easy to get into this loop of like, well, look what they did before, but they also made Skyrim, one of the biggest, greatest games of all time, and I know Johnny got issues with that game too, but
no.
I mean, you don't
why am I getting in trouble for Skyrim
you don't like the art style. You've told me that before. You're not a fan of the Bethesda Elder Scrolls / Fallout look of things it's just not your bag of chips. You said this before, right? I'm not making it up.
It might have been only regarding dragons, though. Remember, this is how Dragon Beef started. Was ESO versus Final Fantasy.
No, good point.
Yes, we have talked about Elder Scrolls art style. I think it feels a bit generic. But also keep in mind you might be conflating me with Garrett, who has also told you this. And I think Kyle, who has also told you this. So
Garrett has definitely said this, yeah. I don't remember.
Does anyone have a picture of a guy under a bus dragging 2 other people under the bus? We need to make a meme right now.
But point being, I don't even think you're necessarily wrong. I think my positivity is colored just by how much I get immersed in their games, and I'm excited to have that happen to me here. I mean, I think it looks big. When he says there's thousands of planets you can explore, my eyebrows went up a little bit, and I went, really, Todd? Because you told me I could climb a certain mountain in Skyrim, and I never did. Like, I couldn't get up there.
1,000 of copy pasta planets.
Yeah. I'm a little worried about that.
When you hear 1,000, I'm like, did you really handcraft 1,000 player experiences on planets? Yeah. Or did you just copy paste some templates and this is Mass Effect side missions?
It's entirely possible that this is really generic in that regard. I don't know. I mean, Todd Howard makes a lot of promises. Sometimes they are conveniently kind of skewed by the time the game comes out. So that while technically true, they're not as impressive as when he said it. But from what I can tell, this thing's singing my song. It's a big sprawling thing. I like character interaction and choices and dialogue. I like RPGs where all my shit gets better the more I do it. Their template works for me. It always has.
You can steal spaceships, apparently, by the way. I heard when that wasn't in the trailer or announcement, or if it was, I missed it, but I read later that spaceship stealing is going to be a thing.
Oh, that's cool.
And that's kind of awesome. Like piracy, like I can get into that. I don't know. I'm willing to reserve judgment. They spent a lot of years on it. It's a flagship game. You may not like all of their games, but they have had some real big wins. Certainly, I've spent lots of time in Skyrim.
I've spent a ton of time in Skyrim. I've spent a ton of time in Fallout 3. I would actually consider myself a fairly big fan of Bethesda games. I'm just giving my impression on how it looks, and if I'm wrong, I will be happy to be wrong.
You'll be thrilled.
I want this game to be awesome. I don't want bad games.
Yeah.
But I'm doubling down because I let you guys soften me during the show and talk me out of it. So now I'm digging my hole, that I'm either going to be like, told you so if it's bad, or happy if I'm wrong. Because I would love to be wrong about this.
What about the shooting looks concerning?
Are you an Expanse watcher, John?
No.
Oh, you got to watch the Expanse.
Yeah, see, so I think this is, and like everyone's entitled to their perspective and reactions, and I think yours is probably a fair one. This has a lot of hard sci-fi vibes. Like everything about the color palette looks like shit, right? Like they're when we go to space and go to discover all these planets, they're all gonna look like depressing piles of poo. Like that's kind of what planets are, just a pile of whatever it is, just rocks. Yeah. And so I do get that vibe from this, is that it does look dingy because space is dingy, like, and that's not appealing to everyone, right? Looking to play a fantasy RPG in space.
If you want something more colorful, I'm trying to think of a good example of, like No Man's Sky.
Well, Diablo 4 is a good example, right? Everyone's like, Diablo 3 is so pretty and not bloody. Meanwhile, it's very bloody and very awesome looking. And then, you see 4, and then everyone's giving praise to the look of it because it looks like
they like grimdark,
big blotch of gray and green. Like that's
that was the other game too. Like I was thinking about it. That's actually what made me double down above all on this. Is like I'm just noticing this trend from more and more games to go with this. It looks like they ran the games through the washing machine like 5 times before they put it out. And Diablo 4 is guilty of it. Starfield's guilty of it. I don't know what's with all these like washed out games. I just don't like the way they look.
It's all this all ties back to Diablo 2. Like every
Diablo 2
that's like, this game doesn't look like Diablo 2. It's shit.
Yeah,
like that's, and then finally they're listening, but now John's upset.
No, it's just me. All those games that you were mad about in the past were because of me, and now they finally decided to upset me and make all of you happy.
Well, it's because you won't buy a battle pass anymore. They're like, we made all the games for John, and he's like, I don't like battle passes.
I wonder if you would like oh shoot, what's the Obsidian game that they put out that's currently on Game Pass, and it's Outer Worlds.
I love Outer Worlds. That game looks great.
That game is great, and I beat it and loved it and would play. Well, and they are making a new one, and I can't wait for that. They did. Obsidian opted for more of a colorful approach to things, right? Those planets are not drab and boring. The look of things is a little bit more imaginative and less like, well, if history plays out the way we think it will, this is what the spacesuits will look like. They didn't do that. It feels like Star Citizen, Starfield is doing that. They're going for more of a, what if the world,
like an Isaac Asimov novel.
Very much so.
Like,
now I've got
hard SF.
I have room in my life for both kinds. I like hard fantasy, dark fantasy, and I like hard sci-fi, dark sci-fi, that sort of stuff. I also like a lighter touch as well. So I'm willing to. Well, we're going to have to because it's not here yet, but I'm willing for this to come out and for me to get my hands in it and decide whether this aesthetic is going to work or not. But
I get conflicted on it too, though, because like you're showing the trailer right now for it, and most of it I'm going, I don't like it. And then it gets to some of the like Paradiso and like some of the inside of the buildings and the stations and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh wait, hold on. I judged it too harshly. This looks awesome. This looks great because it gets like a real like retro 70s look. Like I feel like kind of the look they're going for is like space race era, but then
they're like wearing NASA uniforms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like it actually works in at times for me in the other way. So I don't know, it just depends on where it ultimately lands. Again, I really hope this game's good, because when they do well with what they put out, like I really like it. Fallout 3, one of my all-time favorite games. Skyrim, one of my all-time favorite games. Same with Morrowind. I think that was the first like Elder Scrolls and Bethesda game that I actually got into, and I really love that one as well.
I think this game's going to be really good. I think it looks good. I think it's hard to see. When I was watching, I saw zero G combat.
Yeah.
Customizable spaceships.
That I'm excited about.
A lot of I think on the whole, there might be aspects you don't like. Like if you don't like that aesthetic, then you don't like it. There's no right or wrong about that. So fair.
Space combat looked good though, didn't it? For once,
that's the only thing. Space combat looked fine, but I wanted the Battlestar. There's no explosions in space. Things implode.
I see what you're saying.
Like the only thing was I saw spaceships exploding, and I'm like, not Star Wars, guys. And you've done such a hard work making John not want to play this game. and then you have explosions in space. Come on, man. Come on.
It's a small thing, but I get it.
Expanse is the best because literally you just poke holes in things and then it's a husk. Nobody needs explosions in space in hard SF. But that's for Star Wars. And I like Star Wars too, but that's for Star Wars.
Yeah, if you're going to go hard, go hard. If you're going to go soft, go soft. Yeah, this is starting to sound weird.
Yeah, I need implosions. I need that's real space horror. Like just losing all the air out of your ship. It's enough.
It's enough. Yeah.
We don't need a boom boom Schwarzenegger style. Anyway.
No, but make a fair point. Now let's jump to a space game I'm genuinely excited about. They showed off a game called Lightyear Frontier, and this looks like chorecore in space, just the way I like it. There's no combat. I don't think it's the way they talked about it. It's just you're a bunch of mechs. And you're on this planet, and guess what? You got to survive. And how are you going to do it? You're going to be in the mech most of the time, and you're going to farm in that mech. You're going to water plants in that mech. You're going to do all kinds of chore core bullshit in that mech. And I could not be more stoked about this game. I think it looks really nice. I like games where it looks like a survival game, but a little bit more focused on just the fun of building and prospering and stuff, and it's less about losing and dying. And so this isn't Banished or anything like that. Nothing wrong with Banished, but you know what I mean. It's on the other side.
You, Scott Johnson, podcaster and chorecore aficionado, got into modding the Mech Warriors.
100%.
They should have, if they wanted to sell more of this game, they should have modded you in as the NPC, as in the trailer. It should have been you.
You're not wrong. Like it does definitely tap into about 5 different things I love, and
there's dinosaur husks and mystic adventure to be had. Like
hell yeah,
it's got all of the genres. I call it chorecorgasmic.
Yeah.
If there was more desert, that would be the only thing that would be perfect. But
yeah, I do like.
They'll do a wasteland version, a follow up. They'll do a tie-in with like Mad Max or something.
It might have different biomes.
Yeah, it could have different biomes.
Different biomes, John.
I would assume so.
John.
These games all do.
Sorry,
I'll let her know.
Anyway, so that's one I've got my eyes on pretty heavily. Hideo Kojima announced his thing. We have zero idea.
We just know he's doing it. That was a weird announcement.
And he said every PlayStation fanboy got super mad.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, they all got mad. That's all this was for, is just to piss off PlayStation people, I guess. Although I like my PlayStation.
He's working on also a project for PlayStation, so he's like, "Don't worry, guys. I have an Xbox project. I have a PlayStation project."
He's got a lot of projects, and
how dare you?
They'll all be weird.
Xbox.
No, there's nothing more There's nothing more tender than a PlayStation defender, and I love my PlayStation, but the people that get so worked up, it's like, calm down.
They're hurting right now because they know Sony's taking L's.
Well, it's fine. Hey, I signed up for their middle tier hoo-ha. It's fine. It's good. I like it. So it's no Game Pass, but
they're not terrible. PlayStation's fine. They're in second place. And
I mean, I've got till winter of next year apparently to figure out how to get a PS5 so I can play Final Fantasy. What is it?
Rebirth.
Refund.
I'm buying a PlayStation now. Now that I know it's coming, I'm like, well, time to get a PS5.
Time to start saving. I've got 2 winters to get through, and then
it's a $500 game we're going to be playing.
Yep. Look, they're all doing their thing. They're all getting their cash. They're all doing fine. But what's going to happen is both of his games will come out, and there will be one that's better than the other, and everyone will go, see, Hideo secretly liked insert console.
Yeah,
here
X console here. No pun intended, but better. Yeah, it's how it'll go, and it'll all be dumb, and we may as well be doing Sonic and Mario fights on the internet. That's how that'll be.
And then Hideo Kojima's in Smash Brothers in a few years, and we all forget about it for a while.
Can't wait. All right, I showed a little bit of it on screen just now, but Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels Go Vroom looking thing that they added.
I don't know if that's the official title.
No, that's not. I don't know what the official name of that side shoot is, but anyway, a bunch of Hot Wheels stuff coming to Horizon 5. That looked fun. Motorsport is a full new game coming out without a number on it, so they're doing like the mainline Gran Turismo competitor, but just renaming it Forza Motorsport, and that's where it is. So who knows how that'll go. Whole bunch of others here. I'll rip through a few. Notably, that Flight Simulator showed off the Halo ship, and I talked to a friend of mine who is a gigantic flight sim fan, and he loves that. I don't know how he got to play it because I don't think it's out. If it is, I don't know.
I saw an ad for it today when I opened up Game Pass.
Maybe it's out.
Know what it might be for.
Maybe that's how he got to play it.
Free Pelican add-on.
Okay, so that is in
No,
there.
I think it's there. I think it's in there right now.
That explains how he played it. He says it's great, and he can't recommend going in there, installing this just to play with that. It was what he told me is worth it. So I don't know. Worth mentioning.
Does Flight Sim have VR?
Yes, it has mixed VR reality support, meaning VR as well on PC, not on the Xboxes. There's no headset for that, but PC wise, yes, it is. You might try it. I hear it's good. It's supposed to be really fun. Let's see, a whole bunch of other ones. I'm not talking about Arc 2 ever because I don't want to talk about Vin Diesel on a dinosaur. I hate that. So
Why?
much. I don't know why that annoys me.
I know why I hate it. I just want to
Diesel
hear
has
why
the
you
keep
hate
on-
it.
Well, wait.
He's got the keep on gaming gamers energy, like, immediate turn off.
Well, hold on though. Let's okay. As much as I don't want to talk about Arc 2, what is it you don't like about seeing Vin Diesel on that dinosaur?
Because it felt like the only thing they were trying to sell about the game was Vin Diesel on a dinosaur.
Okay.
Like, I don't know anything about Arc 2 except Vin Diesel on a dinosaur. And that's not enough to sell me. Like, that's maybe enough to get me to possibly download free DLC. But
It's a bit of an insult.
Buy
almost.
a sequel because we put Vin Diesel on a dinosaur. I'm like, really? That's what you're gonna try and sell me on?
Yeah.
It's almost an insult. Like, you think that's gonna work on me? Like, I'm gonna spite not buying your game now.
I don't think it'll work on me. In fact, if anything, it, like Bo said, it repelled me because. Well, all right. Is there a huge story here? And is there a reason he needs to look like him? Can he just be his voice or something? Like, I don't need him to look like him. I don't need that in video games. I don't need the actor. I don't need actor face in my games. I'm trying to think of a game that has an actor face that I actually liked. I can't think of one. Maybe, before he
The Last of Us or something? Don't they?
Yeah, but none of them those aren't face captures. I mean, they are, but they're not meant to look like Joel doesn't look like, what's his name? And
L.A. Noir. You mean more like L.A. Noir, where it looks like the actors?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, L.A. Noir had it, but like that was an aesthetic built around it. Oh, the game that I'm trying to get Scott to play,
Death Stranding.
No, the Quarry.
The Quarry.
Yeah, those games use real actors and use their likenesses for it. Like, it's fine in some places, I think, when it's built around that. When it's a bunch of made up faces and then Vin Diesel shows up, I think that's different.
I hate it.
It's like they made him in the Elden Ring character creator.
A little bit. And I like Vin Diesel in movies. I like the Riddick stuff. I like his voice for Groot. I think that Iron Giant is not the same movie without his weird gutter voice for it. And I think he's great in Saving Private Ryan when he gets shot trying to save a French girl in the middle of World War II. Like, he's got, the Fast movies, they're fine for what they are, and he's good. You need him in them. I don't need him on a dinosaur going, I'm going to buy this game now. Freaking F off. No, that's not the reason. Or either that, or who was the other one? Terry Crews was in... And I like Terry Crews, but I hated that he was in that.
He was in the sequel, the third one of
the one that's still locked at 30 frames on PC for no reason. What is that called? Stamp out, jump up.
Oh, Crackdown.
Crackdown. That's it. Stamp up, jump down, Crackdown.
Stamp up.
I hate that it's him in there. I don't mind their voices, but gosh dang it, I don't need to see him or The Rock or any of these other people do video games. Just stop it. I don't know why it bugs me, but anyway, send me your emails about how mad you are. Also, if anyone out there wants me to scream my way through the Quarry with John, all you gotta do is reach out, scott@frogpants.com.
Oh,
that's my email address.
I know why The Rock is in the Ark trailer.
You mean
Vin Diesel? He's not The Rock.
Oh no, sorry. I know why Vin Diesel's in the Rock trailer.
They famously hate each other.
The Vin Diesel's in the Rock trailer because Vin Diesel hates art. I mean, no. Vin Diesel
is in the Ark
Vin
trailer.
Diesel and Rock are feuding, and Rock is in Fortnite, and then Vin Diesel's like jealous. So he's like, I gotta get me some video.
Oh, you think it was a spite appearance?
It's like a Larry David spite store. Like it's a spite.
Man.
It's a spite avatar.
That was my
He's just
favorite
like, I can do
storyline.
games too, punk. And then he's like, in Arc, right? Look at this. This is a popular game, and I'm the man in it.
That might have been my favorite story arc they ever did on Curb. I loved that. Thought that was amazing.
It's a spite, whatever you call it.
Spite story. Every season always has some common thread thing, and that was one of my favorites. I laughed really freaking hard at that. All right, they showed off Redfall. Actually, started with that, and it looks fine. This is Arcane's vampire shooter. I couldn't stand the VO and the presentation of it. It
didn't show very well. It was one of those like that game may end up being fun, but it was not sold on the backs of how they were showing it because it had that very fake kind of.
You talking about Redfall?
Yeah, that like fake quality to it. Like I remember there was one part where they're like pretending like the character's looking around trying to figure, and you clearly see a vampire standing right in front of them, but the camera's still going, oh, blood on the floor, oh, and then like they look up at the vampire that you've been staring at the entire time, and then they're like, ah, they react big to it. It just felt so forced and generic. I think that game might be cool, but it didn't look.
I reacted badly to the aesthetic, right?
Yeah, you didn't like it.
So, hey guys, we live in this world and there are these vampire guys. And they come out at night. Ooh, they're nasty. And I'm like, okay.
I didn't like the talk, yeah.
Next.
Yeah, partly it's because we're immersed in something that's taking its vampirism very seriously right now. And I think that it clashed. It was like, oh, we're going to be silly about vampires. Lame.
You might be right, but just as a general trope, the whole zombie land, like the whole, we're in a horror movie, but we're just going to be ironic and sarcastic about it.
Hate it.
Like Army of the Dead and Zombieland? Like, it's just not my favorite thing.
I did not like Army of the Dead. I like Zombieland though.
Zombieland's okay. It's just not my favorite. I'm just not like, oh yes, another horror movie where they just flippant about the sheer horror that's happening around them.
Yeah, I think that's why Shaun of the Dead works better. I think because the satire is, it's a different layer. They're actually having
Shaun of the Dead's actually
it's a horror movie that
I think it gets
yes, I agree. They get away with it.
Absurd.
Yeah. They get away with it.
They get away with it because it's absurd.
Yeah.
I think we've all thought about in our own life, like, would I even notice if a zombie apocalypse happened? Like, we've all had the thought, and then Shaun of the Dead doesn't pose the question to you in an in-your-face kind of way. They just show you going about his day-to-day life, not noticing, and you kind of have to roll your eyes and go, yeah, it'd probably be me.
Yeah, there's more going on in irony. Like, it's British, the absurdity is different. I find the American ones are very much like, I don't care, and it's like apathy and meanness is funny.
Yeah.
And there's an absurdity to that one that's just like where I think one of the guys just gets eaten and he's like, thank God, finally. Like, he just kind of casually gets eaten in that one. And then they meet the complete mirror image of their group with another group, and it has nothing to do with zombie. It's just completely weird, like, I don't know.
It can be pulled off, and it's rare. What's the one with Alan Tudyk where the two rednecks, everyone thinks they're the ones killing everybody?
Tucker and Dale. Evil.
Dude, that's a great movie.
I love that movie. It gets a little generic by the end. Like, I don't love the ending, but the first like 80% of that movie is
it goes amazing. Mystery Men by the end. And what I mean by that is Mystery Men is this amazing film that was way ahead of its time in terms of like, here's a superhero thing based on a comic, and it's also funny, and it's got, traces of The Boys and Guardians and the things we like now, but back then
Hebrew Hammer.
Yeah, it was amazing. Freaking the shovel, dude. Oh my gosh, I love everything about Mystery Men. He shovels very well. It's my deal, Wade. My deal. Oh, wrong movie. Anyway, they did a thing where that movie is amazing.
Fargo man in this world.
That movie's amazing until the final third, when it just becomes another action movie, and it pissed me off. So don't do that anymore, filmmakers.
Anyways, Redfall seems like that kind of game.
Seems like that kind of game. Yeah. So who knows? A whole bunch of other stuff. Let me skip down here. Scorn. I know we've talked about it before. I don't know why I'm so excited about Scorn, but I'm pretty jazzed. This is still coming out this year. Actually, soon, right? What's the date on Scorn?
Yeah, I don't remember when, but it's sooner.
Scorn's this H.I. Giger looking shit with just an insane art style. It's a shooter, doomy
I want it in
some ways.
Dude.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'd pee myself in
I don't
VR.
know why don't they need to make a VR version, even if it's with a controller. I just want it on my VR headset.
If you guys have not seen this yet, you really ought to take a look. If you're into that aesthetic at all, it's as grim dark as you get. It's very Cthulhu, very body horror, very I don't know.
Very tentacles coming out of every orifice, and
Yeah.
you inserting your stuff into every orifice.
Yeah.
Kind of energy.
Yeah, and everything looks like the inside of Ridley Scott film about aliens. I mean, it's definitely that vibe. So, well, whatever this is selling, I'm in. Even though people say, Scott, you didn't like scary horror games. It's not the same. This is like, it may be scary,
I don't know
but
if this is going to be scary in the same. I think this is going to be disturbing scary.
just unsettling.
Yeah.
Very Geiger. Very who's the director that's known for all the body horror all the time?
Cronenberg.
David Cronenberg. Yeah.
There's definitely Cronenberg energy to this as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want to see his new movie, even though it's probably going to make me shit my pants. But anyway, whatever.
Crimes of the Future.
Yeah,
looks good.
It does look good. I hear it's very disturbing. We'll see. Anyway, Scorn coming soon, sooner than you think. I think that's like real soon, and also Game Pass. All right, we'll skip way down here. I love that Bo wrote Minecraft. Who cares? I love that. I love that. That just shows what Bo
That was
thinks
the most. They showed like a voxel trailer, and somehow the game managed to look worse than the trailer that was just in Minecraft.
Is this the
probably?
Pikmin, the Pikmin looking one? Is that the one you're talking about? Minecraft.
I guess so. I don't know. I wiped it from my memory.
Yeah. Well, we don't have to talk about it, but anyway, there's a whole bunch of other stuff we're not going to mention, but we are going to skip ahead to this other Xbox DLC expansions, partnerships of note, although this is not comprehensive. A few things. Riot and Game Pass doing a partnership. I saw that and I went, oh, wow, Riot and Microsoft in bed together. And then I went, well, no, this is just Riot on another platform where they're free-to-play games that are on everything else. So...
And they're not doing anything new, because I was hoping Wild Rift would be on Xbox, but nope. You just get benefits in the mobile game. I was like, what's the point of this? Let me play Wild Rift on my Xbox. I actually have spent $60 in skins and stuff, and I would play it on Xbox because I'm like,
yeah,
I've paid some. I can play it on my couch.
I think what would have been cool, like them saying, here's the benefits for mobile, fine. Here's the games you'll play on PC Game Pass, fine. They're free everywhere, so I don't know why you'd pick there, but sure. And then I was really hoping they'd say at the end, and by the way, that cool turn-based strategy game, I forgot the name of it, turn-based RPG called... came out right when Arcane did, and I can't remember the name of it. It's really good.
Terra Mobera.
That's it. Nailed it.
Oh, what was it called? Man, this game's real memorable, as it turns out.
I really like it.
Didn't you play it, John?
Yeah, John has it.
Which
I have
one?
it.
Legends of Runeterra?
No, that's the card game.
The JRPG game.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Whispers of Dawn.
Whispers of Dawn.
Hold on,
You're soaking in it. .com/
Well, while I find it, I'll be the voice of the chat room and say you guys are poo-pooing, this, but getting every champion unlocked in League of Legends is a pretty big deal.
Oh, that is a big deal. I forgot about that.
I have half them unlocked. It's easy to unlock.
Well,
champions.
Yeah, but I don't have
free,
any of them
without paying. FYI,
I don't have any of them unlocked. So
they give you $1 billion when you start. Yeah, but you probably played 2 games of it, right? Like you try a lot of games. You played a couple games and said this is great, and then moved on.
I played it. Well, no, this is years ago. But
I've got 300 or 400 games under my belt.
I played it and decided MOBAs weren't for me, and then I played Heroes and decided MOBAs were for me. So that's my experience with Riot.
Oh, I thought you meant Wild Rift.
No. I like Wild Rift. I like Wild Rift a lot. If Wild Rift was on console, I'd play that.
You said that wrong so many times in a row.
What, amazing. Wild Rift?
Yeah.
Is that not right?
It's fine.
Wild Rift.
You got it eventually. But you kept saying Riled Rift.
Riled? Did I?
Wild Rift.
Couldn't hear myself saying it. That's weird.
Oh, okay. So it's all champions unlocked in League or in Wild Rift?
League.
Well, that is kind of crazy, actually. There's a lot more champions in League than in Wild Rift.
Yeah, Wild Rift.
Okay, I was tunnel visioning on Wild Rift.
Yeah.
If it's all champs unlocked in League, that is actually huge. You're right, John. for sure.
Ruin King.
Well,
There it is. Ruin King.
I don't know because I don't play any of them, but I'm just saying chat room's saying it, and like,
Yeah,
you know,
they have
we
a
played
ton.
Heroes. If these kinds of perks were in Blizzard games and they were coming out and they were saying, hey, you get all the heroes unlocked, you'd be
huge.
like, oh, what a deal, because it would matter to us.
It would matter, of course.
So I will lend a voice to the people that this matters to. That's a pretty big deal.
It is
You
a
know,
big
It's
deal.
a big deal. I agree. I just was thinking of Wild Rift because then I'm like, they give so much heroes.
I would
League,
love to
they
play.
don't. I've been playing that game for years and I only own like 5% of heroes. So,
But
yeah.
you're not wrong though with Wild Rift. Like if Wild Rift was coming to consoles, and there's no reason it couldn't, that would have been an amazing announcement. I would have been stoked because I would play.
I just
that
really
more.
wanted. That was like the one thing is like I'd play like Pokemon Go right on Switch. Like bring it to Xbox, please.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Oh.
Do it. They're not gonna, but they might. I mean, they could still. They just didn't announce it. Is what I'm saying. They may could. All right. Let's see. Also, that's interesting. Oh, the game is Ruin King. Thank you, chat, for that. Is the RPG, the Ruin King.
What was the point of bringing that up? I'm sorry.
Just that would be cool if they would have announced along with all of this that game was coming to Game Pass on console. I think that would have been a great get. Just a nice free game.
That is a strange one, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know why that wasn't included. It could have been a good chance for that to have happened, but whatever. It's a good game. There's no reason more people shouldn't play that.
Good partnership.
Let's move on to Diablo 4. They both announced the Necromancer and showed a bunch of gameplay and updates for the game itself at the Microsoft event. And they showed it running on a Series X and confirmed a few things later, like cross-save is 100% across everything. All platforms will have cross-save. So if you're making progress on PC and you want to take it to the couch, you totally can and go back. I'm very, very happy to hear that because I quite like how those games control with joysticks. More on that later when I talk about what I played.
Yeah, nothing but, I'm going to go sit down and now play Diablo. Like,
man.
Perfect.
I know.
Great.
That's all I wanted to do.
No, I'm happy about that.
We also got a release year, 2023. And all that cross-play as well, not just save. I should have mentioned that. That seems obvious, but cross-play across everything. Todd Ferguson, who used to be head of the Gears of War people, who's now at Blizzard in charge of all things Diablo 4, has confirmed it will be a full retail boxed game. This is not a free-to-play game. This is nowhere near what Immortal's doing, which is partly why he's sparring with people online about it. It is a full-on buy-it game. It doesn't mean they won't have some extended tissue later on about, pay this to get that or whatever. We don't know. That's all speculation. But at this stage...
There is a job posting for Cash Shop.
They have confirmed there will be in-game purchase.
Yeah.
Purchasables.
So every game they all have this.
Known.
Yeah,
all the
games
Lost Ark, Path of it, they all do it, so nothing to see here.
Not even action RPGs. Like every game on this planet has some way to buy extra shit, whether it's as simple as DLC or there's a cash shop. That's just the way it is.
Yep.
But he did confirm it is a traditional, in that sense anyway, buy it and you own it. Let's see. What else? That's it. It looked great. It looks insane. I can't wait for that game. It'll be the big Blizzard game I'm waiting for, really. I mean, Overwatch coming out this fall is exciting and all, but to know that it will be next year, now all my goals are just to survive. I got to live long enough.
It's got to start jogging, get exercise.
Yeah, get back on that treadmill.
No more hot dog burritos.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but they're so good, Bo. They're so good.
We need to get you to 2023.
Once
we get to 2023, you can pick out on all the hot dog burritos you want.
Which I will be doing while I sit and play that. They didn't say anything.
I'll call Kim and tell her what she can make you: salad and steaks and
there you go.
And healthy water.
Now, if
no more Baja Blast or whatever.
If you had a notion in your head that all Blizzard games from here forward were going to be released day and date on Game Pass, PC, or console for free, it doesn't sound like, at least they're not saying it is. This seems like it's on PlayStation and other stuff. That's not this thing has been confirmed for everything but the Switch and Macs. So this isn't a deal where Microsoft's like, and Diablo 4 Game Pass day one. They're not doing that. As far as we know, that could change, but right now that's just a game you get wherever you're going to get it.
But I could see Overwatch 2 being in Game Pass in some capacity for sure. Now that it's free to play.
Well, especially since it's free, it probably will. No matter what, it'll be on consoles. Question is,
it'll be free to play, so it doesn't need to be on Game Pass. But I'm sure there'll be perks. So.
Probably. Oh yeah, perks are a big deal. Yeah. Let's see what else we got. That. We
But
got
by the way,
this.
that just I want to just say it too, just to say it. Like, it looks sick. Like,
Yeah, it looks great.
There was a huge tsunami of blood move. Like, at one point, I'm like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah, and that blood wall.
I still want to believe that this is a game I want to spend time on. Hopefully,
Bo, I'm going to
hopefully
guarantee
the mobile
it.
shit will just stay in the mobile realm, and we get,
I
just get
guarantee
good
you we're
Diablo.
going to play the shit out of this game. Are you kidding me? It's
Yeah,
Diablo. It's proper mainline Diablo, not an offshoot, not some mobile thing. It's Diablo.
Damage numbers.
Yeah. And there's a huge wall of blood going down a hallway in a scene. I want that ability. Whoever has that, I don't know if that was that may have been one of the Necros things. I don't know, but
Yeah, I think.
They said 150 dungeons.
It's a little less impressive when it's out in the open, but it still looks very cool. Because they do show it again later when it's not in a perfect sized hallway.
Yeah.
Where I saw it the first time and I was like, holy shit, that's the coolest looking move in ever. They flooded the hallway with blood. And then there's a scene later in the trailer where they use it like out in the flatlands of desert, and it just looks like a little yellow jello mold rolling down the hill instead, because it's still just as wide as that hallway.
Yeah.
It's still cool.
It's still cool. It's
cool for a different reason and in a different way.
Yeah.
But it does look considerably silly.
It's like blood
Also,
jello out there. Yeah.
We also confirmed that Caleb Wilds will be in Diablo.
Caleb who?
Caleb Wilds from Elden
Ring.
Ring.
Wilds, famous Bushmaster.
No, Caleb Wilds. Caleb Wilds.
Oh, from the Elden
Ring. There was a
super
red zone. I was like, that looks like Elden Ring.
Yeah, or a little bit like the second modern Star Wars new trilogy, Salt Planet is what it reminded me of a little bit, and that red salt stuff. But yeah, it looks really good. It looks like the thing's coming along, and the fact that they've got a year to release it is great. I hope it's like not next fall, but like next summer or spring. That'd be nice.
I don't care when it comes out.
It might get pushed.
I hope it's good. I just hope it's good.
It'll be good. It's
I don't think it's the guarantee you're saying. I hope it's good.
I know it's easy. Look,
right now, people making content saying, I don't know about Diablo 4 because Diablo Immortal is X, or that they're just cashing in on the clickbait.
They are at the moment, and I understand the tendency to see
and
it
they could be right.
They could be right.
They mess it up.
They could be right. I mean, we all thought 3 was going to be amazing when it hit. It was good, but it had that dumb freaking real money auction house, and it didn't really get good until they did Loot 2.0 and came out with an expansion. And it became one of my favorite games in the history of the planet. So I'm not saying they're going to do that again or flub up right out of the gate. I'm just saying, as easy as it is to look at Blizzard's recent history, from their harassment allegations all the way over to just, the way things have been going creatively to everything else and combine it. I know it's easy for us to go, it's going to suck or boo or be more trepidatious about it. But for what they showed and knowing what they need Diablo to be, if they want to keep it as the flagship of all time when it comes to action RPGs, I think they're going to pull it off. I am optimistic, very optimistic about Diablo 4.
I would be more optimistic if it were a company that hadn't also recently released Diablo Immortal, Warcraft 3 Reforged, and the past 2 WoW expansions.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I don't have anything to add.
Whatever.
And
it's raining. For some of it's for raining, some of it's sunny. I don't think anyone's in the wrong. It's just what the weather's like.
The weather's different wherever you are.
Well, anyway,
I want it to be good. I think it does look good. Like everything I'm seeing and hearing is good.
Yeah.
It's weather, but that's usually the case. It's just I am at a point where it's like I've been burned a lot.
Yeah, you don't want to be burned again. I feel you.
Yeah.
And Diablo
I was reminded they finally patched Warcraft 3 Reforged. Did you see that?
Oh yeah.
A patch came out for Warcraft 3 Reforged. I was like, wow. They didn't forget about it. They actually put something out for it. And I looked and it's like, we added, what is it, ranked?
Yeah, they added ranked
ranked plays finally in the game. And I was just like, oh, that's what they did.
When I saw the patch, I went, ooh, did they add the voices they promised? Did they add half the crew of Critical Role in here like they were saying they were going to do? Did they have all the cutscenes put back in? No, they added ranked.
I mean, good that it's there, better that it's there than not there, but it's just like, this is my point, is it's just, there's been plenty of evidence that doesn't make it an auto win. And so I am hopeful based on what I've seen. I am hopeful based on what I've heard. I'm just not hopeful based on past experiences.
Yeah, I feel you. Interesting. Market Watch has a post just today. Activision Blizzard responds to harassment allegations. That's weird. Slams media and California Civil Rights Agency. We have made significant progress, Activision says. The company is engaged in a wide-ranging team of advisors to assist in this effort, from law firms to experts in workplace issues.
This is just an external email from Bobby Kotick. We know how their messages are crafted.
Yeah,
everything's fine here.
Yeah, I don't buy it.
No,
whatever.
piss off.
That stuff irritates me.
Whatever.
I don't need them telling. Just don't try to explain yourselves. Just clean it up. The results will be obvious when you do.
The people will stop complaining that work there.
Yeah,
and have nice things to say.
It was a note that Bobby wrote. Unless people don't like it, then Cheryl wrote it, and Cheryl's fired.
That's right. Good point. That did happen. That literally happened.
That did happen. That's not made up.
Nope.
This is Bobby. This is they pay people full time to think up this bullshit. That's not what you want to hear.
Rusty Nails in the chat. Oh, Scott's such a sweet summer child. What does that mean? I don't get it. I just gave Blizzard shit. Is that what he means?
Because I don't even know why. Why is he probably said something like, "This seems." What did you say?
I didn't say anything.
What happened 10 minutes ago? I don't know. I was going to explain it, and then I don't even know what happened.
I don't know.
What happened 10 minutes ago? Who knows? Nobody knows.
They're claiming they're doing a thing. I don't buy it. That's all I meant, if that didn't come across. Okay, what else? Bunch of other stuff. Okay, let's talk about. So that's Microsoft. There's a ton of other stuff, but it's all, things you're going to learn about over time, and they don't matter that much. Expansions of the ESO, we know. Fallout 76 expectations, we know. Or expeditions.
Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves,
let's
right?
Talk about Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves is fine. What do you want to say about that? It looked fine.
That was so
Scott's like, here's 2 minutes for your dumb game. All that, you can customize your own boat. Usually you just have 3 boats, and you got to like pick the boat, and now you can make your own boat and name it, and it's like Starfield but in water.
Starfield in water.
No, okay. I think that's awesome. Like, I don't think you can. I think one of the biggest parts about being a pirate is having a boat and feeling like it's your damn boat. Like,
exactly, it's like V Rising but on the water.
Yeah.
Like, we need to play Sea of Thieves.
This is a cool and important update. Having ownership of a boat is important.
Sure.
Yes,
I agree. And
this will get me back in. I'm probably going to push to get some multiplayer going.
I love that you are back in almost entirely on the fact that you can name your boat and have ownership of the boat.
It's not just name it. You can set the rooms in it. You can construct your own unique boat. Yeah. Before it was you had 3 choices of boats, and they're all the same layout.
Yeah, that's true.
Now I can make my boat.
Yeah,
that's true. What's your problem with water? Because if this was in space, you would be.
Oh no, I love water, and this is still the best looking.
You're like, whatever.
No, the rumors about me hating water are untrue.
No. The water in this is still the best looking water in video games, and I like pirates. I'm in. I'm all in. I just didn't think.
You just seemed very nonplussed, and I was like, if this was a spaceship instead of a boat, you'd be like, oh my gosh, it's the best game ever. Remember Skyrim? What a wonderful game that was. But because it's a ship boat, you're like.
All I meant
was.
To
be fair, he's probably just trying to get through the show, John.
Well, that is part of it. But to be fair, it's more like
sitting down.
Yeah,
we're on 38 of 500 items, so we need to get moving. You know what I mean?
We haven't even Dear Martha'd yet.
Well, and this thing wasn't
just today. Don't take it personal if you get shushed to rush on.
That's right. Okay. Plus, this wasn't even highlighted in green, which I thought was the only ones we were.
It is both.
I know. I just wanted to say one thing. Just that awesome. Thank you. I love that you can make my own boat. We can move on now.
I am excited too, and I will play that with you, Bo. Let's play that game.
All right.
Okay. What else? Clay is making Rotwood. This came out of the PC Gamer show thing that they did, which I was not able to watch, so I feel bad.
I didn't watch it either.
I haven't seen it either. The only reason why I highlighted it was because I know you're part of the Clay
Army. I love
Army.
them. Oh my gosh. Clay Army, man. I love these guys. So here's some video.
Actually, it looks pretty sweet.
It looks really sick. If I had to compare it to anything, it reminds me of their earliest work, not Shaft, Slash. What was the name of those early brawler games, side-scroller brawler games they made with the guy that side scrolled and brawl.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, like slice,
slash, sliver, man, whatever it was. Rotwood looks like co-op business, and
looks like Castle Crashers.
Yeah, there you go. Very Castle.
This looks like a clay animation Castle Crashers. I mean, it looks fantastic.
Yeah. Shank. That's it. Shank 1 and 2. That's
Shank,
the one I was thinking of. Shank. But yeah, no, you're right. Whether I'm in the mood for a side scroller, actually, John's going to semi-review his experience thus far in a notable release here recently, where you scroll and fight to the right, and I'm very curious about it.
Did you see the release date on this video? It says 2003, 2004, 2000X, 2020 question mark. Like they're trolling with the release date on there.
Yeah, I don't like it. It annoys me because now I don't know if they're trying to joke that it's sooner than you think, longer than I think, or we don't want you to know I don't know what to make of it. I don't like it. They shouldn't do that. They should just say if they have an idea, great. Say coming soon or coming later, or say something else. Big question mark. Lame. Yeah. I like them though. Okay, you still need to play Invisible Ink, one of the greatest games ever. It's so good.
I installed it.
System Shock. We got some footage on this remake. We've known about this for a while though. But it feels
like it's been forever.
It looks pretty good though, don't you think?
System Shock is a great concept. It's a thing that is definitely we all like, which is space horror.
Mm-hmm.
I never played it too, so it'll be a first time experience.
Bo, this would probably be very much your jam because it is basically take Deus Ex, set it in a space horror setting. Like
it looks like my jam. The only thing that kept me back is it looked old, and there was been rumors of a new one forever, right? So the fact that we're getting it is just amazing.
Yeah, it looks real nice too. So sign me up. I'm ready for this.
Yeah.
Is it wishlistable on Steam yet?
No, or is it? Maybe.
Oh yeah, it is. It's on my wish.
Is it? Okay. All right. I should do that.
I really want to play this. I've never played a System Shock, so this is. Well, I think I'll be very grateful to play this.
I think you will really like it if it's truly as good as the original, but looks this nice. Like the original hasn't aged a ton or very well, I would argue. Like visually, it looks like an old Half-Life.
But they could make it look good, but then not keep the gameplay mechanic magic from the first one, possibly.
Yeah, that's the hard bit. So we'll see if it matches up or not. They showed a bunch more stuff. I'm trying to see if they've got a 5-hour VR campaign mod for Half-Life Alyx called Levitation that looked pretty neat. Since that's still considered like the high watermark of all VR narrative experiences, probably worth looking into if you're into VR. And Bo, have you played the main game yet? Or?
No, not yet. I'm still. I lent my Oculus to my mom.
Oh, geez.
So my mom came over last week and she tried the tutorial and loved it.
Yeah.
And that's all she did was the tutorial, and I almost because she's like, I want one. She's talking about. I'm like, why don't you just borrow? I don't play it every day. Borrow it and have some fun. So I don't actually have it right now.
Well, she's your mom. That's a nice thing to do. I like it. I like your relationship with your mom. Have I ever told you that? I think it's nice. You and your mom are.
I don't know, but yeah, we're cool. Pretty close. She's cool.
Yeah,
she's very cool.
Seems like a cool lady.
Atheist, and she's just always there. She's a loving mother. She's always there for all of her kids.
That's good. That's always better than not, no matter who you are. Okay, what else? Oh, I want to talk about this just for a second. The Mahokenshi. It's another card battler deal, but holy shit, this looks pretty.
The artwork is pretty breathtaking on this one.
Blew my mind. Like just the landscapes alone are like insane. Here, let me get some video going for the chat. So, as best I can tell, this is just, it's this turn-based, card battler. But look at that.
It's what you would want for Slay the Spire.
Yeah.
This is animation, guys. Jeez.
Yeah, that's really pretty.
It's very pretty,
I know the magic sauce of Slay the Spire is underneath the hood. It's
the mechanics, but this is the only thing that worries me about this is it might look so good that maybe the card game sucks. I mean, who knows? But
yeah, you never know.
If they do it in both, it looks gorgeous. I love the style.
What else? Some
Tactical Breach Wizards interested me.
Oh yeah, what do you think of that? That looked neat.
I don't know because I passively kind of watched it. I didn't want to spoil too much, but it's basically XCOM, like a Rainbow Siege XCOM, like a tactical one of those tactical games, but everyone's a wizard.
So I played the demo.
Oh, you've played this?
I have. It was about a year ago. I'd asked for an early access to it, and they sent it to me. The dev is the guy who did. Well, he used to work at PC Gamer, like he was an editor in their British offices. Then he left, started making games, and he made that amazing pixel. Oh, the name. Can't think
I know
of names.
what you're talking about.
Gun point or point gun, whatever it is. I could look him up. Then he did that one where you'd fly into that ship, or you'd go try to get into a ship and clear it out and then go back, and it was like a roguelike thing, and I don't remember the name of that either.
Void Bastards?
No. Shit. I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, he makes really interesting games. And I thought that even the demo, which was very incomplete at that stage, this looks like a lot more further along, was already very rad. I'm actually really excited about this. And the conceit that it's like it's wizards, but in a tech setting is kind of hilarious to me. And I love it.
Yeah, they're like SWAT teams, like tactical SWAT teams, but they're wizards. It's like, okay. Yeah. It's ridiculous, but if you can kind of get into the fiction of it, I think it's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, it looks great. So bring that on. Let's see if there's anything else in here I wanted to mention. I don't think so. We knew about that.
Northgard DLC if you like Northgard.
Oh yeah, Northgard's cool. That's the same people. That's interesting because they're also doing they're doing the Dune
Wartails
game.
guys.
Oh, yeah. Wait, is that the Wartails guys or the?
Yeah, Shiro's doing Dune, Spice Wars, Northgard, and Wartails. Those are the big games.
All right. Well, then they've got room to do more than one project. Okay, cool.
So yeah, Dune's getting multiplayer. Northgard's getting new campaign DLC, and Wartails, of course, they talked about. Just they're going to add co-op to Wartails.
Wartails is badass. That game's great. Yeah. I played a bit of that.
I'm just waiting it for being a little farther along in early access before I spoil myself on it, because that's a game I want to get like 120 hours.
Yeah, you want to get deep. I get you. Yeah. They also had a thing, the OTK show with Asmongold and a bunch of other streamers did an unofficial game showcase. It's focused on a bunch of indies. I didn't watch this.
Yeah, I missed this because I was moving, but I was surprised pulling up the list at how much they showed. There's a lot of games there.
Yeah.
So these are all in the indie tier. Someone pointed out to me that I'm like, it's kind of like Scott's Wheelhouse in particular, like just strange little indie games that are made by small studios. And one of them I saw that looked interesting was it's a lobster fighter. So basically, you're lobsters and they're fighting each other, and I'm like, oh, that actually looks like it's fun. It's fun for a day kind of game. You're not like becoming a pro lobster player, but I actually kind of liked it.
What was that one called?
It's called Knights of the Deep. It's on Steam.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of this almost this WoW arena PvP kind of thing where you pick up. I mean, maybe that's a little too generous, but you pick up hammers and rocket launchers, but you're all lobsters.
Yeah,
those kinds of games, right?
Yeah,
and so that one looked awesome.
There's one. There's an action RPG in here that looked good called Night Crawlers. It's this like low poly cartoony take on kind of Diablo, and it looks kind of like I would play this. I don't know. Looks like there's some neat stuff in there. Kind of an interesting idea for these streamers to get together and go, hey, let's, we have some influence.
I would not fault anyone for being like, oh, streamer stuff, great. Because, that upper echelon of high tier streamers are, they're not my cup of tea. Let's just put it that way. You know what I mean? Just the humor and the blah, blah, blah. And I'm a millionaire that blows money for fun because I don't appreciate anything. Like, I don't find it ironic or funny. I just find it like stupid and decadent, So there's like that energy going on, which is why I didn't watch this. Yeah. Which it's almost why it's just good to get the streamers out of there and just do a showcase like Jeff Keighley does. That's what I want to watch. I don't want to see a bunch of guys doing things badly and making a laugh out of it. And you're probably thinking, I'm listening to the show for that reason. But anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, careful, Bo. Talk the audience all right out of the room.
Look. Look.
Well, look, we have a humble
you guys
approach.
can be a
I don't
fan
know
of
why we need to attach personality to video games. You
You
could always
guys-
just go to the website and get the facts without having to deal with a bunch of chuckleheads
You guys
telling you
can-
bad jokes.
You guys can be a fan of me, and I'm a big fan of John and Scott, but I don't have to be a fan of myself. So self-deprecation engaged, all right? I don't. That's where that's coming from. And so, anyways, that energy though, I think it's when people I know they're millionaires because they stream, and then they're just like this whole trend of people spending. I think was it Quinn69 spent $10,000 in Diablo Immortal and still hasn't gotten a 5-star gem or something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
he was just doing it
I'm
for
like,
kicks.
They're
Yeah.
giving you it's the irony. It's like if they don't do stuff like that, that's almost what gives them the money, and I hate it. You know, like
Yeah.
like it's, you know what I mean? Like they're doing this ironic, wasteful, decadent shit, and that's their content. And I just like, ugh.
Well, every society and every era has had a class of that society who does that. I feel like maybe we're experiencing the early part of the next,
Yeah, I
who
guess
does
so.
that,
Anyways, I'm not judging. If you like this stuff, fine. If you like our show, you're beautiful and wonderful, and may good fortunes fall from the sky for you.
Yeah, smack you right in the head.
Yeah.
Capcom.
Anyways, the games are cool.
Yeah, the games are cool. They all look pretty good. I would recommend checking out that list. A lot of those are in the Steam Demo Week stuff too, so I probably had a chance to play some
I
of those.
also haven't seen it because I was moving, but I like the idea that, anybody can give a platform to people. Like I know Bo was just kind of he was saying it to be funny, but like it doesn't have to be Jeff Keighley. Like not everybody has to get up there and kiss Jeff Keighley's ring and bend the knee to Jeff Keighley. Like he does a fine job. Like I don't think he's bad or anything, but
Sure.
the point is like we're at an abundance of video games. We always talk about it, and there's not a lot of places to showcase these things. I think it's cool that there are people giving other avenues to it, and especially with E3 going away, I think other people wanting to put on events like this is really neat. I think doing something like this is cool. I think it's a cool opportunity for people, and a cool way to get your game seen by a different sort of audience.
It is
So
cool.
I'm kind of all
cool.
for it.
It's a cool thing. I agree. It's a cool thing. I just don't like streamers that much, and I am a streamer, so make of that as what you will.
It's a certain tier of streamers. Someone in the chat says
certain streamers. Like obviously, I like some. But
hand sanitizer in the chat, whose body is always in the path where I'm running in V-Rising, says, "You can't spell beautiful without Bo." It's true.
That's right. Yeah.
Have you heard that before in your
But
life?
I'm ugly on the inside, as you can tell. I'm being a hater right now.
Well, we all take our turns. It's fine. All right. What else? Capcom, they did a thing.
I've certainly spent the first third of this
Yeah.
episode hating on things.
Yeah,
so,
you had your
it's
early
about-
moment.
It's about
All
time,
free to
though.
play sucks.
All of it. It's all bad.
Yep.
Yeah. He still stand by it.
I don't think. Hold on. Let
Wait,
me
no.
be clear.
I didn't mean to bring it back up. No.
Right back up.
We
I
have
want my
500
point
games left.
taken. I don't
500
give a
game alert.
shit. Here's the point. It is not you put free to play in it and it makes your game sucky. That is not what I'm saying. I am
Boom.
saying that it is an absolute immediate inclination towards being worse. Like that doesn't take, you can be a phenomenal free to play game. It can exist,
Yeah.
but the free to play elements is always going to be by some margin making that game worse. By
Fair.
some margin.
Sorry, I mischaracterized you. I was just trying to make jokes.
Yeah, no,
I was-
you're doing
Well,
good.
the
I'm trying to
the
be
problem
accurate.
is then I have to go and deal with Discord and Twitter and everyone. John's
Oh,
always
I'm
complaining
sorry.
about. You're always complaining about free to play. I am. It's bad.
It's bad. He's
I'm
like
sorry. I don't want to help paint you further as the villain when there's nuance to your argumentation, of course, and
Yes.
I do understand it.
Is
but
argumentation
I
a
just-
word? Because I'm going to use that more often. I'd love that.
Yeah,
I
Argumentation.
want to believe that's a word.
I'd
It is a
love
word. When
Is
you
it?
go to court, you prepare by formulating your argumentation prior to showing up.
Shut up. Is that real? Is that a thing?
I want to say yes, but I need to look it up.
But I was like, yes, absolutely, and then you double check.
I love the term. I just
It
don't think
is
I've ever heard it.
argumentation, the action or process of reasoning systematically in support of an idea, action, or theory. There you
Oh
go.
man, that's great. I don't know why I always think of
Yeah.
augmentation. Never heard of
Because
argumentation.
what I'm doing is I'm reducing John's nuanced comments to a sound clip or two
Yeah.
that we could eventually use on a Core Clips YouTube channel.
That's right.
That will get 10 million views when we eventually get around to making, our 1 minute
This
shorts. Or whatever.
podcaster thinks all free-to-play games are total trash.
Yep.
We need a video editor. Scott doesn't have time. He already does a lot.
Not enough.
John and I suck, so we need someone to edit these videos.
Yeah, Carter's making
I
animation.
started learning. I started taking courses on how to do it, and then I also was like, I have a child to raise, and I don't know when I'm gonna find time to finish this.
You know, you should use if you don't want to pay for like a sub for Premiere or anything like that. I
already have the sub for Premiere.
Oh.
Like I already have the Adobe sub from like other projects. It's unfortunately a lot of money I throw away month to month.
If you didn't have that or don't want it anymore, DaVinci Resolve is very good and it's free. DaVinci Resolve, highly recommend it. There's a paid version, but you don't need it. Speaking of free to use, there's no microtransactions in DaVinci. All right, moving on to Dragon's Dogma. Just announced today, they're getting a sequel. Yeah, that's right. That game came out in like 2010 or something, and everybody who liked it loved it and wouldn't stop shutting up about it. I never played it. I don't have any kind of like skin in this game, but I know it's important to a lot of gamers that Capcom says Dragon's Dogma 2 or whatever it'll be called is a thing. Okay, so how do we feel? Do we care? Do we know? It
has real cult thing you missed energy to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? I don't know. I missed it.
Yeah, same. So, but there's so many people are like, I love Dragon's Dogma. I love Dragon's Dogma. And I'm like, did I miss an important moment in gaming? And is this my opportunity now to become a part of it? Like
maybe.
I did with Souls-likes?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe now that you're, what was it, a Souls-like game? I don't know what that game.
Well, I mean, I skipped all the Souls-like, and people are like, I love this game. I love this game. I love this game. And you're like, an Elden Ring comes out, and you're like, oh, someone buys it for you, and you're like, well, I should earnestly see what's going on.
Yeah, and it turned.
Dragon's Dogma has that energy about it for
sure. I don't know if the original holds up well now, but I know it was famous for having really cool boss battle mechanics where you would like climb on top of a beast and like stab him in the eye and then hop off and do more stuff. Kind of cool boss mechanics. Outside of that, I don't know much about it. Kind of Skyrim open worldy kind of stuff. It was sort of an answer to that anyway at the time. So that must have been 2012.
I feel like it's the game that if I went and played, all of a sudden it would be a game I wouldn't shut up about. In the same way that like, because it feels very much, it came out around the same time, I think, as like Skyrim and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that was the game everybody played.
Yeah.
And then there was this game from Japan that also got a lot of attention more quietly. And it vaguely reminds me of a MMO situation I found myself in recently. So there's a part of me that's like, I should try Dragon's Dogma. Maybe it's the secret game I've always wanted. Just living. It's already been made. I could go play it at any time.
What if it's a text adventure where the dragon just spouts off religious idioms and things the whole game? How would that?
Okay.
How would that be?
I mean, that might be okay. It depends.
It's a terrible name.
Dragon's. Is that a thing?
What is Dragon's Dogma? It's like, you're all going to Dragon Hell if you don't pay.
The problem
tithing.
is, we know it's a Japanese translation, so it's probably got nothing to do with Dogma.
Probably.
I thought it was a declarative, like the dragon's dogma.
Oh,
in the yard.
Dog mother.
No.
Dog mother. No?
Like that guy that's like, hey, Ma, there's a weird effing cat outside. Like that guy.
Okay.
Oh, Dog Mother.
Yeah, the Dog Mother. Yeah, the final boss is the Dog Mother. Yeah. Anyway, that's happening. A bunch of... there's some Resident Evil 8 DLC coming out where you play as Rose. I don't care. I'm not doing it.
I didn't either. I didn't look into it any further.
Why, Scott?
As I'm not going to do it.
You had fun with Village. You almost played it again.
Oh, you're saying I should play some of this add-on content that should have come with the original game, but now is like a free-to-play add-on that you have to like shell out money for? No, I'm trying to make it something you hate.
I do think you should play that.
trying to sound like John here. I got to pay for my DLC.
It's not a free-to-play model. It's an expansion. Like, it's expansion DLC.
I know that you can play... So there was others... Wait, who's Rose? Why can't I think of who Rose is?
The main character's daughter.
Oh, okay.
Remember that game ends and it kind of time jumps a little bit?
Right.
A lot of bit.
Yep. And you can do third person. I heard about someone in the chat just said it too. So you can do third person control. The big lady, boob lady with the hat, she's in something. She's like a crossover for some other Resident Evil thing now?
Yeah, she's in their multiplayer game. You can play as her.
Okay. Will her hat get bigger every time I look at it like that mod? No? Okay.
I hope.
I loved that.
Yeah, I hope every time you kill somebody while playing as her hat gets a little bigger.
If you guys haven't seen this, seek this out. Just go on YouTube and search for Lady Demis Screwwho, or whatever her name is. Look for her hat grows mod or something like that, and you will see the funniest thing. Because the way it worked was, if you looked at her and then looked away and then looked back, her hat would grow since you last looked at her, but only after you've looked at her. So then you look away again, you look back at her, it's bigger. By the time this video's done, the entire environment is her hat. It's amazing. You should watch it. It's freaking fantastic. I will mention this one real quick because I have a Grim Dawn connection today. The Grim Dawn devs are making a game that looks a lot like Banished. It's called Farthest Frontier. It looks actually pretty cool. I really like that dev.
I have hopes for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Grim Dawn's a game that I've been like hovering because I'm like, we'll get to our RPG stuff later, but I'm like,
you'd love that game. Dude.
It's like, it's older and still is held very favorably by everyone who plays it. I think you got to get over the first hump, and I've only ever played the first act, so I'm like, let me get back to it and get into
such
this
a good game. I love that game. It is one of my favorite ARPGs, and it's 2015 it came out, 2016 it was released, 2015 in early access. I backed it on Kickstarter. It was the first thing I ever backed on Kickstarter because I knew these were the Titan Quest people, and I loved Titan Quest back in the day. So they were always going to be a big deal to me, but what really impressed me is how much they've continued to support that game to this day. They just keep supporting it.
I own all the DLC. I still haven't played it. DLC comes out, I buy it.
Yeah. You should
play it.
You should play it. It's very, very good, that game.
Yeah. So, but they're making a Banished game, and that's,
that's your Steam as well. Yeah.
That's sexy talk where I come from.
Yep, I agree. Well, you're going to love what I tell you about later. Okay. So, that's basically it. Anything that I didn't hit that we wanted to make sure got its day in court here?
We're gonna have lots of time to talk about all this, about this stuff. I think we're good, right?
Probably good, yeah. It's a lot of games. I mean, like for a world without an E3, it sure felt like E3 week to me. Like it was.
I guess that's the one thing I wanted to say is just like I didn't put everything on here, and we have 74 lines of Excel game entries, and I was like, okay. Like, I don't know if this is just me being old, but I'm probably only playing 5% of these. Like I look at this list and I'm like, I got to pick 5. Like, I only have so much life to live in the next year because next year there'll be more games.
Oh, yeah.
Which are the ones I'm actually going to get around to? And it's like almost depressing because everything in its own way, misgivings or no, looked pretty awesome, right? Like, there's a lot of cool stuff. And that doesn't count last week's Summer Game Fest pile.
Or the PlayStation thing the week before that. Like all of this stuff adds up to the point where embarrassment of riches is like, we are in it. And I don't know, like it's a unique time for people like us who want to cover this stuff and talk about it and build content around it because there's so much of it. It's like, where do you lock down? At the same time, I'm kind of, maybe it's because I did one for 16 years and that was enough for me, but I don't think shows dedicated to a single game is a good idea anymore. So like people in the chat tonight have been going, what about you bringing the Diablo show back as Diablo 4? No, we'll probably talk about it here, like hardcore. Like, why would I do it twice? You know what I mean?
Yeah, single show, being a single show game right now is like a dying breed because
feels like it.
You'd have to be highly specialized, like hobby, like Magic the Gathering people are pretty hardcore. Yeah. And a lot of them are just not moving off. Poker is another good one. Chess.
But people are there's so many experiences demanding your time now. Long gone are the days where you had one or two giant sensations on a PC, for example, in the early aughts, where it made perfect sense to just cover that. So
you have enough of an audience. Like clearly, there's a pile of people that do nothing but play Warframe, and they'd love to have a podcast, but you're only serving a couple hundred people. Like, it depends on what your goals are. I like the idea of having a niche little game and not caring about the money and just making a radio show for your favorite community. There's something gangster about that.
Yeah.
And I want people to do that because they're not interested in the money. They're interested in the community.
That's true.
That's early radio shows felt like that, right? Like, it's like, how am I going to make money at this? I just like being in this MMO.
Yeah.
like or access radio for PlanetSide was an interesting concept. Just because it's radio for people who play this game, and there's like 1,000 people.
Yeah.
But if you want to have any ambitions, you're absolutely right, Scott. It doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense. All right. Well, I guess that's all. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Right. We covered it all.
Can we do break?
We can do a break now. Yep. Bo's gonna go do a number something, one of the numbers, and
I just need 5 minutes to calm my nerves.
Yeah. Get yourself.
It'll be 5. So 9:19. We'll be back to 24.
Yeah, we'll be right back, everybody. Stay tuned for more. Hang in there. All right. Let's save this. It's a good time to save this. All right. Everybody's gonna go pee. Chat. We're gonna just take 5. So chill for a bit. And we'll be back with more. Let me make sure this is all good. Yep, it is. Okay. Saved. And I'm going to play a little of this while I go pee myself. So enjoy. Okay. We're getting back to it, everybody.
Hey, welcome back.
Hey.
Hey.
My wife made Cajun boiled peanuts. If you've never had these, it's insane. Just get a giant bag of like raw peanuts you buy at a Costco or something. They're in shells, right? So it's like the kind you'd feed an elephant, right?
Yep.
And you dump them in a giant pot, fill that thing full of Cajun seasoning and water, and then you boil it for up to 4 hours. So it just boils for 4 hours. And then you let it sit overnight in the water, and then you eat them, and they're the greatest things on this planet. They're so good. Oh my gosh, I can't even describe it. It's a southern thing, but man, I could just
beautiful
non-stop eat them. I don't know why I'm even telling you this, but I'm just excited to eat them.
I mean, it's certainly made me hungry.
Well, good. My work here is complete then.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Let me get us back to where we were.
Thank you.
No worries. Little break never hurt nobody. All right, we're back.
Yep.
The sound of a sody pap popping over there.
That's
Sounds
right.
good.
Gearing up for some more core.
What are you drinking there, by the way? What's the
Urea Zero.
Oh, a urea. It's got some. We're back to Pepsi has pee in it. All right. Welcome back to the show. We're going to now dive straight into some Ken Burns style freaking Dear Martha segments. Now, John, as usual, you've gone back to the old well here and pulled out an old Game Pro issue. Anything special to do here? Are we all good? You all set?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything special. I think we're gonna do 2.
Okay.
Let's keep it short. Let's do 2.
Okay.
And neither of them have replies, so we'll
Okay.
just do 2 letters.
No spicy Martha today.
No spicy Martha.
Yep. No sparsy. All right, here you go.
My dearest Martha, why does almost every third-party ad show a mascot kicking some other third-party mascot's butt? The most recent examples are Vex and Ty, the Tasmanian tiger. Speaking of which, how can an extinct animal be that scary? Besides dinosaurs. Yours in this life and the next, Jared T.
Oh my gosh, that's great. Hold on a minute though. I didn't recognize that game character at all. I have no idea who that is. Do you remember
Ty,
that?
the Tasmanian tiger, or Vex?
Either one.
Well, Ty was a Tasmanian tiger. He had a boomerang.
Yeah, that's news to
And
me.
wasn't Vex a gecko?
Was he? I have no idea. I've never heard of these characters. All right. Well, I thought I knew it all. I didn't.
I really want an answer to that question.
I do too.
They did answer. It's just not very interesting. Like I don't.
Then let's leave it to.
It's
let's
not
leave
good.
It.
All right.
I trust you. I'm just, my human feeling is like, I want to know what Spicy Martha has to say.
There you go. All right. Now number 2.
My dearest Martha, my husband is unbeatable. No one has ever beat him at any game. Mortal Kombat, or Tekken, or any of them. He has challenged all of McDonald County, and each person that played him failed and got mad, and we've never seen their faces again. He has even won a lot of money this way. I have never seen him lose to anyone. He is always the talk of the county when it comes to gameplay. He has every game for the PS2, and he's beaten them in a day to a day and a half. Like Metal Gear Solid, he beat that game in a day. Now, since he has no more people to beat at games, I want to know how to get him in a tournament against other good players. Yours in this life and the next, yours in this life and the next, Jody H.
She sounds a lot like Spicy Martha. Weirdly.
I was gonna say I like the you were consulted the Blizzard diversity chart when
Yeah,
you
good
selected
job.
this email.
Yeah, got some crossing lines there. That's fantastic.
I thought it was
Well,
like a gay couple.
The what I was going for was that this is clearly written by the husband. We all agree this, right? Like this wasn't written by.
Oh yeah, no, I don't believe for a second.
There may or may not be a wife, but she certainly didn't write it.
Yeah.
Are you being toxic masculine?
I don't know. I think she
No!
like. I don't.
no way a
I'm telling-
woman wrote to GamePro.
No, that's not the comment at all. It's that
Okay.
this is somebody inflating their ego. Has beaten every game. Nobody can beat him. No one has ever like. Women
Oh, so
can write
this
to
is-
GamePro.
you're saying
I'm
this is-
saying that no woman ever was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna write to GamePro to talk about how good my husband is at video games.
Okay, so this is someone fantasy role playing.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
And I.
He doesn't.
agree.
He's not even married.
I think I agree.
I don't know. Maybe married, but the wife didn't write the letter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chad says it's Billy Mitchell. Clearly. Yep.
It probably is Billy Mitchell. If it had ended and also by my barbecue sauce, like definitely.
Then it was a lock. All right. Well, I loved both of those as usual. Now the games we've been playing. All right. So Scott went weird this week. Let me explain. V Rising, tons of it. It's great. I love our server. If you're a patron at the second and third levels, second and third tiers, you've got a direct message from us with access to that server. A bunch of you have joined. Thank you for that. It's good to see everybody in there. And I got to run some stuff with people that just showed up to help. It's like little server-wide, like, hey, anybody else need so-and-so? Oh, yeah, I just did it, but I'd love to do it again because it was fun, and I'll meet you up there. And then people are just helping each other out. It's great. Love watching that. We even got an email from one of them that I was going to read earlier and didn't. Why didn't I read it?
Oh, do you want to read that? There's a huge letter in the bold that says,
forgot.
Before we talk about our gaming stuff, read this letter.
Yeah, let me read that letter. Here it is. Hey, Scott, Bo, and John. This is Andy, a.k.a. Curio, who was there during that fight with me. It was fun to hang out with him. He says, longtime listener here, love the show. It's my go-to for all my latest and greatest video game news. Plus, I enjoy the discussions that can veer off into talking about philosophical nature of people and poo. It's not a philosophical nature, just plain poo. Anyway, man, that discussion around Diablo Immortal has so many smart takes. Okay, so I wanted to get to your thoughts on something that occurred to me while playing V Rising. By its design, the game encourages cooperation among players in order to advance. Either that, or you really have to get good, which contrasts with Elden Ring, WoW, and other leveling games. Here's what I mean. In V Rising, there's no traditional leveling. You make or loot better gear, and your item level rises. Your item level is your level, and it determines whether certain enemies are going to be easy or hard to beat. The design in V Rising for increasing your item level is circular. The only way to increase an item level is in order to beat the bosses is to get better gear, and the only way to get better gear is to beat the bosses for new recipes or materials, designs, better gear, etc. So you have to get really adept at playing the game. You get good, in other words, or you team up with your fellow vampires to try and take down the bosses together. But even then, the bosses scale in difficulty, so you have to work to be better at the game. By contrast, in other games with traditional leveling, you can increase your level and therefore stats high enough to where the content you're trying to play through gets easier. I recall Bo talking about this for Elden Ring when he said the game is not all that hard. So here's my question. In your opinion, is the aim of the multiplayer game, if the aim of the multiplayer game is to challenge the player and encourage cooperation among its players, is V Rising design superior to what other traditional leveling games do? And if that's true, yes or no, is it more fun? He says, by the way, I'm having a blast on the core server for the game. Thanks for all yours in this life and the next life being as a vampire, Andy, a.k.a. Curio. All right. So there's a couple of questions in there. The main one, I think, is an interesting one of, what is better? Like, would all games benefit from item level as the progression line and not experience levels? I'm kind of torn. It's almost like that's what is it in D&D, Bo? You can do XP or you can do milestone.
Milestone.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what it sort of is. It's just a different way of defining power and you getting better.
I think probably if you're looking for the best multiplayer experiences, everyone has an equal amount of agency. I mean, try playing Diablo as a level 1 with a level 70 character. You're the definition of a third wheel, right? It's multiplayer and it sucks.
Yeah.
I think it's probably true in V Rising. This is something that I find a lot of players have a hard time with, and I'm going to throw Mike and Crofton under the bus with John, Kyle, and Garrett. So everyone's now under the bus.
Sweet. All our friends are under the bus. This is good.
But when we play, so we played Divinity Original Sin 2, and I've played it before. So I'm a strategic gamer. I know how to do it, but I will down level my brain when I'm playing with them. Like I will take the back seat. I will not try to get all the glory, understanding that it's someone else's first experience, so I'm going to do less. And, Scott, I did it with you. You're out killing stuff. I'm over leveled. I'm like, I'm not going to attack the boss. I'm just going to be your healing person. And I enjoy that. I don't need to feel awesome when I'm playing cooperatively, but I find that's not if you don't enjoy that, it's fine. No judgment. But a lot of people just won't depower level themselves when they play and find fun in it. They're like, what about me? So generally, I think the best, that aside, the voluntarily de-power leveling yourself and finding fun and sharing an experience with someone is, for game balance, to have everyone as even as possible. Everyone wants to be 70, around the same gear level, progressing together.
Sure.
So I think games like Vermintide and Sea of Thieves, where the differential's not that pronounced, are probably balance-wise the best. I mean,
Right.
I just don't think V Rising is a good example of it potentially. But that doesn't mean there isn't fun to be had. But yeah, if you're to play Valheim and I'm a guy with all my gear can go to any biome, and you're a noob guy, you're just going to feel behind all the time. That's not a pleasant experience for the person behind.
That's true. Oh, we failed to mention, by the way, Valheim coming to Game Pass. There, I got it out. I meant to mention.
Yeah, I saw that too. We have lots of time to mention.
Yeah.
There's really so much. Like I feel like I got hit in the head with.
But don't you think one of the things about V Rising that strikes me as equalizing that a little bit more than these games typically do, even if I'm playing with somebody like you, or I can't remember his name, Tesseret or something. Anyway,
Tezzeret Dynamite.
That might be his name. He's as high as you.
He's related to Napoleon Dynamite, but
maybe. But he's as high as you are. He's like level 70 gear, kicking A. And he came to help us. And it hit me that, okay, yes, he's overpowered for this fight. And sure, the boss scales a little bit, but we're going to take him down. And he doesn't need it anymore for the things the boss unlocks. But he does have the added benefit that anything the boss or other environmental stuff is dropping, those are still valuable to him. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a total loss if you ended up walking away with a ton of scrolls because you need those for some unlocks or whatever. Like, you're going to have benefits to that.
Different gamers for different tastes too, because like I like a challenge, so I would actively add, like if I was low level and when someone's like, "Oh, I can kill that boss for you," I'm like, "No, thank you."
Yeah, you want to fight it.
Are you the same level of me? Let's do it. Are you way higher level? Well, you're just going to... I want to feel like I overcame a challenge, and you trivializing it's not going to give me my reward. Depends on the player. Some people don't care. Some people are like,
I think there's very few like this is the superior system in video games, because I think so many people come to games for different things, and even same person, different games are going to have different feelings about it. Like, I think playing on our server with you guys makes V Rising a better game. But, when we watched the trailer for Diablo 4, one of the first things I said is, I don't know how I'm going to feel about, this big open world space with other players, because I like Diablo as a solo experience. Like,
sure.
So wait, why is one true in one game and the opposite true in a different game? And that's just, everybody goes to different games for different reasons.
Right.
That said, I do think the itemization in V Rising works very well for its systems, because I do feel like the game is based around this slow but steady incline of getting further and further into a boss pool, until eventually, you hit a bump where it's like, okay, I have to either really learn this boss or really build my character around this boss, potentially get help. But I think, I talked a little bit about it last week, where everything in V Rising kind of pushes you to engage with the other content. So when I got to a boss that was in a graveyard that I couldn't beat, I knew that if I went and collected a bunch of iron, I could create a scythe that is more effective against the undead and would be very useful to have against that boss. So that encouraged me to then go to a different biome and start getting materials from that biome that I wasn't getting in the other one, which then encouraged, other aspects of the gameplay. And then I came back and fought that boss. So I think the way they've built it and constructed it and kind of created these bosses as like almost checkpoints for gameplay works really well within this game, but I don't think it necessarily would map to every game out there as a better system.
Yeah, I agree. But I think that's what I like about the game, is they know what they want to be, and they're mapping that stuff really well to be what they want. Like, it doesn't... I mean, I have a couple of quibbles about the game, but very few. And I don't like survival games, but something about this one's really got me by the chode. I love it. I really love this game. But anyway, it's a really interesting question and thought there, Andy. He also said, is it more fun this way? I don't know. Like, I think I agree with what you two said. People come to different games for different reasons. You're going to find your fun in different ways.
The juice in the fruit is different. Some people like apples, some people like oranges. Basically, like if Crofton plays a game that doesn't reward him and let him do sweet moves and look awesome, he's not into, like Valheim. He's just... We log in, we're like, okay, me and Mike, we're gonna go build a cottage, and he's like, oh man, a cottage. I want to kill some stuff, like Like, but we're building cottages together. It's like we're spending time bonding and cutting wood and putting up putting up walls and drywall. It's great. He's like, I want to kill something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just different for different people. And yeah, because
You
I
know
would
what
say
in
my mind, Sea of Thieves is the perfect multiplayer game because it requires everyone's on even footing, no levels, no gear. Everyone's just got to work together, and I like those games.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I will say this: having played enough of this game, it is doing what video games do for me sometimes, and that is get into my head and not leave. So my wife goes to the pool today. With my daughters and Van, the little boy, and they come home, and they're all a little bit sunburned. And all I could think of was, well, keep to the trees and the rocks and the shadows there. You gotta not want to be out in the sun. And then if that wasn't bad enough, I saw this video, or not video, a photograph of an extreme heat in Holland. Sheep will okay, you know how they have the big windmills out there? Not Holland, or maybe it is Holland. Anyway, great big windmills. They cast these big, long, straight shadows on the ground that are moving all day. Even if the thing's not moving, it's static. But the sun's moving, and so slowly it's moving. And during the day, herds of sheep will hide in that sliver. And all I could think of was, yeah, I know. That's what I do.
They're vampire sheep.
I'm like these sheep.
I'm like these sheep here. And
they're
man, this game just is in my blood right now. It's really hard for me not to think about anything else, but anyway,
it plays really nice. It's a really sweet game for sure.
It's very, very good, and the server's really fun, and we're having a great time. I did something a little bit weird. I started a new offline game to see if I could build my own creative mode, just to fiddle around, because I bought all that Dracula shit, and I'm like, well, I just want to see what I can make without worrying about material or 75% return rate, or let me just build stuff and then see how it looks, and then when I'm back on the server, I'll go in there and think of some of these, implement some of these ideas I learned for free while I'm over here. And you can do some wacky shit in there, like if you really want to freak yourself out, how hard gold is to get, or some of those really high-end ores. It's just a console command. You're like, give tab, find the one you want, okay, and then you're like, I want 10,000 of those. Suddenly your inventory just goes, and it's just full of gold.
Yeah, console mode. I have access to it on the server because I'm the admin, so I can actually do.
You can do that in there.
Yeah, because I'm the server admin, so I have control of the console, but I don't do any of it. But,
no. But you could, if you wanted to, you could bring 5
if you want to pay me $20 a month for the premium V Rising service, I will. There will be rewards.
Could you put in John's house 3 tree ants and then a giant rock dude? Just pop him in there and have him be high level like 70 and just.
Oh yeah, I think I could do that.
Okay,
I want to see something because I switched to a custom rule set from standard PvE. I went through and did all the research on what to set.
Yeah.
So there is a dismantle resource modifier. I left it at 75%.
Oh.
I could in theory change it to 100%.
You should give us 90%.
90. Scott's like,
90.
I want some penalty.
Yeah, let's meet in
not
the
a
middle.
Big one.
The thing about it is, I don't know if that changes the in-game text or not. That's the only thing I don't know. But
yeah. But you did it. You increased stacks, item stacks.
Yeah, I increased item stacks. And I increased the clan size to 6 as well. So we have to talk to Cox. He asked about that. He wants to be back in the clan, but I think he's playing with Garrett. But I actually saw an interesting tweet from Garrett. B Rising is the first game where his wife is staying up later, Katie.
Than he is.
His wife is staying up late. He's going to bed, and she's staying up late playing V Rising. And I was like, oh, sweet. She's probably on our server, and that's great.
That is awesome. I love that.
We're making a little community out of the server, and I just kind of love it. So.
Yeah, my daughter's going to be playing soon. Like, I think there's a weird it scratches some itches that I think I used to get from, like, Animal Crossing, weirdly. Like, me getting in and checking in on stuff and going, all right, well, a bunch of rats are on the floor, but they're not doing anything. Let's clean these up and put them in the press. Okay, what else? I got to go do that. Oh, yeah, right. I made a ton of leather. Let me go in and get that leather and sort it. I need a new box for leather. There's something about those chores that gets me going, and also planning for a raid on a material. Like, I can't wait to go up north and wreck somebody for their cotton. And I'm going to do it at night. So I got this plan. And then I'm going to teleport with empty inventory. And then I'm going to do it. And then I'm going to go to Bo's little cave teleport thing and come back closer to my camp or whatever. And it's so satisfying, that loop. And all I'm doing is going and whacking on shit for 10 minutes and trying not to die.
You get into little side adventures. You find a big blood guy. You maybe try to take him home. You get into a big fight with too many enemies.
Yeah,
cool.
it's insane. It's insane.
And the boss fights they're interesting. They're fun. They're well voice acted, animated, cool.
Hey, tell me what's the deal with the werewolf? Is he just a boss?
No, werewolf's a whole species of dude. So there's a couple werewolves in Dunley just hanging out, but there's a whole village of werewolves.
Oh shit!
You just haven't found it yet, I guess.
Okay, because the ones I ran into was just one, and he was a skull, so I don't know what level he was. Way higher than me, and he was in an area where everyone was like in their 20s, 25s, so I don't know why he was there.
Yeah, he's a lot higher than the stuff around him, but I fought him. I decided to fight him when he was still a skull and almost got him, and then I came back a little later where now he's just difficult. And he gets beaten up a lot, though. He gets in fights with a lot of people, so sometimes you can catch him on a bad day. He'll be
he's got like half his life gone.
Health werewolf running around.
Yeah. I like the simulator aspect of just like, there's a bear fighting some poachers. Yeah. I like stumbling on that stuff.
Yeah, there's some really interesting emergent moments in the game that I also quite like. But yeah, it's a rad game, and I'm super hooked in it, and I love it. Now, here's what it made me do. This is the weird bit. It made me go, well, when I'm not playing this, I'm really itchy now for action RPGs, and Immortal is probably not going to be the one that'll do it for me. So where am I going to find that? And I'm like, well, I have so many of these that I just either fell off of or I need to play or whatever. I recently got Last Epoch, but that problem with that thing is it's, early access, and part of me wants to do like Bo says with some games. It's like, well, do I want to spoil myself now or wait till they're done? It's that whole thing. So I spun up the following games and played portions of them. I will not get into a ton of detail here because we don't have all night. Warhammer 40K Inquisitor Prophecy. Great game. Love it. Play with a controller. It's amazing. Love it. All right. Great one of these. Lots of loot, lots of missions, lots of fun stuff. One of the better Warhammer games, 40K games in my opinion. Grim Dawn. Played a bunch of that. About 3 hours of that this week. And played a new character plus an old character and had a ball and was reminded that Grim Dawn is awesome. And I came this close to buying the Series X version, which just came out this year or last year, because I love console action RPGs. So I almost did that. I didn't do it. Played regular vanilla Warhammer, the Chaos Bane, which is the one set in the fantasy universe. So there's lots of Saltspire types, a lot of that. And that game's pretty good. It's not the greatest, but I will say that if you were looking for something out there that is a little more along the lines of Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance on the consoles way back in the day, I don't mean that new thing, but those old Dark Alliance games, this is basically that game. That's what they made. So for good or for bad, if that's the kind of, it's a little simpler, a little less intense, a little less random, a little less, it's a little more grindy, but it's a fun one of these. So that's cool. Last Epoch, I told you about that. I played that. I played Victor Vran. I forgot I even owned it. I think I got a code or something years ago. Victor Vran is like this kind of tongue-in-cheek, more humorous take on things. You literally are only one character, but it's like Diablo loot system, top-down, three-quarter view, whatever. It's okay. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but it was there. And I even fired up Diablo 3. And here's the problem there. I have played so much Diablo 3 in my life. They have nothing new to show me in there. You know what I mean?
Well, because I played Diablo 3 and I said the same thing, but I paid for the Necromancer DLC and I realized I never really played Necro. So
Necro's
then yes, you did literally have new stuff to play.
Yeah, you had new stuff to play.
I leveled a Necro to 70 and I'm working on gear. I don't know how, but I don't know how much of it I'll play. But I did put in a good evening's worth of. I got to level 70 in 4 hours. That's partially the problem. It's just like, okay, I'm already at end game.
Doesn't take long.
All right, Scott, I'm telling you, you only get one ARPG to play from this list for the next foreseeable future. Which one did you like the best?
That's a great question. And V Rising doesn't count in this list, right? We're not counting that.
No.
Because it's a weird thing anyway. All right. In this list, okay, let me add one caveat. Am I approaching this list as someone who's never played any of these before?
No.
Okay.
No. Just you now, which one is your current best experience, the one you would want to stick with if you were going to keep playing one of these?
It's a tie right now.
Oh, boy.
And I'm not, you know what? Last Epoch we'll set to the side because I think that has massive potential and it might be the next big thing, but it's in early access and I don't know, makes it weird. So we're putting it over there for now. Everything else, it's a real tight race between Grim Dawn and Warhammer 40K Inquisitor Prophecy. Those two.
Okay.
If you're really jiving for some like sci-fi Warhammer Ezekiel to me, that kind of bullshit. I've
been curious about Warhammer 40. Is it that good?
Oh, I really like it. Yeah. I mean, it's a free expansion, or not free expansion, standalone expansion that is basically the full first game, Martyr, plus a new class and all the content that comes within that new class. So kind of. You don't want to pick up Martyr by itself. You want to just buy Prophecy, and then you get Martyr, basically. And it's a big, meaty game with randomized loot, itemized stuff, crafting, all the stuff you can think of, including the multiplayer, including the co-op, including all that. The only caveat I would say about that is if you're a mouse and keyboard only person, the mouse and keyboard controls for Warhammer 40K Inquisitor Prophecy are not great. I don't think they're great. They're okay, but they're not great. Controller support is amazing for this game. In fact, it's clear that was the primary method they were aiming for. And this is on consoles as well. It's very good with controller. It's okay with mouse and keyboard, which is a weird thing to say about this kind of game, but that game with the weapons and the way ranged works, and it just works better with a controller, so I would highly recommend that. Grim Dawn is great with controller or mouse and keyboard and is an amazing game by at the time a small team, and I think it deserves to be that's in the top 5 greatest of these ever made, in my opinion. So those two. John, is that fair to say that, let your taste decide whether you like 40K grim future or if you would prefer a more fantasy take?
Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay, so there you go.
I just, a lot of people are either, disappointed by Diablo Immortal, or they are at a point where, maybe they're reaching, okay, well, I played what I could for free, and now I want something more. So I think it's good to be able to say, hey, here's something where you'll get a good experience out of it.
Yeah.
Similar.
Yeah. And there's a lot of good ones out there. I think it's easy to feel like, well, Diablo's the only game in town. If you can set that aside and let yourself get immersed in different takes, I think there's a lot of really good games like that out there. And I didn't mention Path of Exile. It's not because I don't like it. I get bored in PoE. I don't know why. I always did.
Numbers.
Never get stuck in there. Yeah, it is too numbery, I think.
The rest has no numbers.
Or maybe that's the problem.
Yeah, that's why I don't like it. Otherwise, I find it very good. But
it is good. I like technically good, and all the stuff's good. I don't know what it is. It's something about it.
I just had a hard time with the contract that says to play this game, you have to start telling everybody why Diablo's horrible for the entire duration that you play it.
That too.
I just didn't really feel comfortable signing that contract.
No, and it's not that good. I mean, the enemies are like generic blot, like. All great. I wish them luck, and it's great to see lots of games out there. I find the enemies like all behave exactly. They just walk towards you in huge packs. They don't do anything.
They don't do a lot of interesting stuff. I agree.
They're not interesting. Like, that's what I mean. That's why John's comment is so good. It's like you sign some contract that you don't like Diablo. I'm like, there's some cool ass looking monsters in Diablo 3.
Yeah.
And like the guy that shakes a whole bunch of little glowy bugs off, and you got to kill them all, and then you can proc things on death because there's just lots of cool looking bad guys in Diablo 3. So I think that I get being disappointed that Diablo 3 is not Diablo 2. I can understand that, but they take it way too far with the spite, and that's the game. That's what that is. That's a spite store.
Yeah, there you go.
I just hear it a lot. I feel like I've never heard somebody get passionate about Path of Exile without shitting on Diablo within their first 15 sentences.
Yeah, I hate that too. Regardless of how you feel about Diablo and other games' existence shouldn't be all about pooping on the competition. But I also understand that a lot of this competition would come out of, well, we're not happy with this, so we're going to make a game that we think true Diablo fans will love, and that just breeds this. So I sort of get it. But Diablo 3, my biggest hang up with that this week and why I didn't say that one. If it's your first time to these games, I'd probably say that because there's a lot to love in Diablo 3 still to this day. And if you've never played it, get in there. Or even if you've only played some, get in there. But if you played as much as we have, I've seen every class top to bottom. I've seen every build top to bottom. I've seen every Paragon level filled out. Like, I'm good. I've seen all that they ever wanted to make. I wish they'd had an expansion and added on to it and more classes and whatever. But this is the game.
Can you imagine if there had been more than just the Necromancer? Or
that would have been amazing.
A whole other expansion that.
Amazing.
I remember Chris Metzen in interviews talking directly about plot points of.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit.
Yep.
Like that's disappointing and sad.
Very sad.
The one thing I keep wanting to get into, I don't know when I'm going to do it. It's just hasn't been top of mind because I so rarely open up BattleNet these days. But I want to get into Diablo 2. Whatever they called it.
Or Resurrected.
Resurrected.
Yeah. I did too.
I knew it was something. Something RE. Like
I hovered
Final
over
Fantasy
it. I hovered
VII.
over it today, even just like 3 times this week.
I want to get into it. Like it felt like an old experience because obviously it's tied to mechanics that we've evolved over. Like, because I was walking around, I was like, Jesus, I'm slow. And then I turned on the run and I was like, okay, there we go. But then I had stamina. I was like, what? Why do I have this? Like, there's definitely things that make it feel dated, but it does look good. Yeah. And I do remember really loving that game. So I want to get back into it and try that again.
I might finally just nab it and do it. I probably should just swallow that pill and play it.
Yeah, the big thing for me with Diablo 3 was just to wash the taste of Diablo Immortal out of my mouth. Like, so the last game I played wasn't Immortal, but Diablo 3.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe I'm being too hard on Immortal. So let me play Diablo 3 and remember it. I'm like, I can just get loot wherever I want. I can just do whatever I want. There's no microtransactions. It's just it's much better. It's like getting in, like getting into a pool after being in a hot tub for a bit. Just like like thank.
Yeah. Or the other way around. You're in a kind of cold pool and you're like, oh, now I'm going to get into this nice warm hot tub.
Yeah.
With other people's urine everywhere. All right, Corvus. I call it Corvus. That's not correct. It's
Chorus.
It's Chorus.
Chorus.
Oh, I wrote Chorus, didn't I? Yeah. It's supposed to be Chorus, and that's how they say it, but they spell the U in the logo as a V, and it annoys me. But anyway, this is this space shooting Unreal-based game that came out some time ago. People seem to be having some real reactions to it, seem to be excited about it, and I thought, well, that looks cool, but I don't want to spend the $50 on it, so let's see what happens. And what happened is Game Pass got it. So that was a surprise release. I went and downloaded it, played it on my Series X. I think Chorus is pretty cool. It's weird, though. It's basically kind of freelancer-ish space thing, open worldy, open university, I should say. Very arcadey when it comes to how your ship flies. Fine with me. I kind of prefer that. I don't need that to be complicated. I want the world to be complicated. And in this case, the world's fairly complicated. Interesting story being told. She likes to whisper a lot. And there's a reason for that. There's a thing in the game where like you're part of some mystic deal. I don't even know how to explain it, and they don't explain it very well either. But if she's talking to the commander, she's like, "Commander, we're coming in hot. We're going to shoot the things," and then she'll stop and go, "I don't know if the commander knows that I'm in my own head here, and I'm thinking about the future." And like she just whispers to herself a lot. So it feels like an ASMR simulator in some ways, and I don't really dig that. Although, whatever, they're telling a story, and it's kind of interesting. You have a symbiotic relationship with the ship that you fly. That's very pretty graphically, and so far, pretty neat game. I'm not far enough to give any kind of finality on this, but I think if you've got Game Pass, there's no reason not to try it. Chorus is an interesting, so far, open world space game that is. I'm at least going to keep returning to here and there. So
you know what someone needs to make? I'm sure variations of this exist, but I want the one that's in my head specifically made. Like, why isn't there an ARPG where you're a spaceship? Like, just replace your Diablo character with a spaceship.
Oh, there is. You want to know the name? Drox Operative. DROX Operative. Let me make sure I have the name right. This is literally what that is. The difference might be perspective. It's top down. Yeah, here it is. Let me put it in. There's a 2 as well. I haven't played 2, but I played 1 pretty heavily back in some day.
Was it any good?
It was good. Yeah, it was really good. Basically, your little ship flies around, and shoot shit, and they poop out stuff, and you gather it up like you would in Diablo, and it's always random and itemized, and you improve your stats and your gear, and it's Diablo in space, but with a little ship.
Huh.
So yeah, it's called Drox Operative. It was one dude what made it. The second one is a bigger team. I've not played 2, but keep meaning to check it and see what's going on.
It's 10 years old, eh? Jeez.
Yeah, it's old.
Yeah, I want a modern one.
Well, this Drox Operative 2 came out in 2021.
Yeah, that one's new.
Okay, that is more modern. This doesn't look like what I want, though.
Oh, well, what were you looking for?
No, I don't know. Not this, though.
Well, I've never heard of this.
That's for
This
sure.
is interesting.
It's a cool
actually.
game. It's a really cool game. I mean, it's basically...
I just feel like ARPG mechanics map really well to spaceships. You know, like,
Yeah.
hey, get new parts for your spaceship. Same with mechs, but I know they've done mechs for ARPGs before.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, hey, new equipment. You can have new classes of ships, random parts, flying around in space. You can even go Diablo-ish and do, like, the whole, like, evil ghost space, which is always a great motif.
Yeah.
Hell space, you know?
Sure. I mean, I like Hellspace as much as the next guy.
Yeah, hell space is the best space.
It's a pretty good space. But yeah, 2 looks a lot better graphically. Wow. Way better after 10 years. It's a neat concept. I really like it. So if you ever got a hankering or it was super on sale, there's a demo you could try, see if you like it. But yeah, Drox Operative 2 is pretty much that, what you described. It's got the loot grind anyway. I mean, that whole thing is straight out of Diablo. So if you're looking for that.
Oh my god. You know there's an ARPG hashtag in Steam if you're looking for other things?
I know. It's
but
dangerous.
I don't recommend it. I found this game called Never Grind Online.
Never Grind?
Yeah, oh boy.
Hold on, I want to see this. Never Grind.
Is this something that Scott's going to get in trouble with Twitch for?
No, there's no nudity. It just looks like...
It's not orc massage.
Oh my gosh.
It just doesn't look very good.
Oh, it looks like shit. Never Online, the world's first multiplayer real-person dungeon crawler RPG with real-time combat. Oh, it looks terrible. But maybe it's really fun.
It could be. I hate judging these things.
It has very positive reviews.
It's brand new this year. Oh, you know what? I might actually like a game like this because I like those first-person like wizardry kind of games.
Your standards are so low, Scott.
I know. I know I have low standards, but this is indie. Indie gets a different pass from me.
Yeah, I know. Okay, because if it's indie, it changes things. But it did look like
I dropped everything I was doing to be able to play the newest patch of Vampire Survivors, a game that does not look good. But I had a wonderful time with it.
All right, I'm being a dick. I'm sorry, Scott.
Good.
I formally apologize.
You don't need to apologize because I understand where you're coming from. I just when I find out it's like 3 guys in their basement and the gameplay's great, I have just like huge.
So is this multiplayer? Could we all play Never Grind online together?
I mean,
you
it
said
says
multiplayer online, right?
Yeah, I assume so. These all look like
multiplayer
raids.
first-person dungeon crawler. So do we all just? Is this like a clicker game where we all click on the bad guys? I don't know, man.
I'm reading here. Says it's unlike anything ever. Real time.
This looks a bit Raid Shadow Legendsy though. No, I don't know.
Well, is it free? No, it's $20. It's just a game.
Early access. Yeah, it's just okay.
It says EverQuest with no running, says one of these positive reviews.
EverQuest with no running?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of running in EverQuest. Okay, captures that old school MMO feel. Yeah, they were clearly aiming for a certain thing here, and I think maybe they're hitting it. I don't know. It seems interesting to me.
I'm gonna wishlist it and see what happens.
So am I. I'm gonna do it.
Shit, it's talking shit about it now.
Now it's on your wish list. Good job, Bo. Good job.
I love it.
I'm like, maybe it was too hard. I just you got to admit it. It's we went from watching the Callisto Protocol to whatever this is, right? I mean,
but see, that's the fun part about I don't know. It's why I like retro games.
But John's point about Vampire Survivors, I have to respect it. Yes, I dissed that game, but I did also spend 20 or 30 hours in it, so I obviously enjoyed myself, or I wouldn't have been in that long.
Gameplay first, I guess.
There's a new character. It's a werewolf. It was fun to unlock, and the werewolf is very cool.
Yeah.
The lady werewolf.
Yeah.
She's great.
Yeah. I don't know. I could. Yeah. Maybe this is I don't know. I get what you're saying. I could see this being some kind of a fun thing that just has unfortunate graphics.
I mean, it's not the ugliest game I've seen, but it's not the prettiest.
I mean, look, there's a reason why I saw the graphics and then went, is Scott going to be able to show this? Because I expected porn at literally any second.
Yeah.
Well, it
That's
looked
fair.
a bit porny from the first shot too. It was like, had the EverQuest style lady, and I'm like, it's Steam. It could go either way. But
Never grind.
yeah, you know what? The
online.
problem with this, I was just wanted the ARPG tag, and I went to action RPG. We play so fast and loose with these definitions.
I know.
Like, like Gasnator is an action RPG. Like, what is this?
Well,
I'm not going to diss it. This obviously is an indie game, and
but they include stuff in there that shouldn't probably be in there. Like they include, well, I mean, maybe they should include it, but they include like the Borderlands games because they are kind of that. But it's also a shooter more than it is. I don't know. So,
but Elden Ring's listed here as an action RPG, and I'm like, I guess ARPG is different than action RPG because when we say ARPG, we mean isometric clicking. There's a very specific genre, right?
Yeah, maybe it's isometric ARP. So maybe IARPG is what we're looking for.
Well, I mean, Steam's categories are weird. Like,
yeah, I know.
The Resident Evil Village gets put in the erotic games section, I assume because it has a very tall woman in it. I don't know, but it is there.
Yeah, it's a fair
because
point.
Probably because of the modding community. You know that naked ladies being put in some people's games for sure.
Yeah. I almost checked back on Wolson just to see if they'd worked out their issues, but I didn't. I forgot to. Anyway,
hey, there's I'm going to send you in the direction of another one, Scott.
Okay, what do you got?
But I think it's probably going to be crappy, but you might actually be able to try it, or who knows, you might get a code. It's a game called Liberté, but French.
Oh, there it is.
Steam.
Yeah, I'm looking. Okay, what do we got here? Story-driven top-down roguelike set in an alternate history, Lovecraftian version of the French Revolution. Play solo or co-op, influence 4 factions, blah, blah, blah. Oh, it looks very Diablo-y.
Yeah, so I've been watching this one for a little while. It's an early access, but it intrigued me, but not enough to pull the trigger.
Came out in
But this is an
2022.
ARPG game, but there was enough unique things about it, like French Revolution era, Lovecraft. Yeah.
It looks nice. Seems like it plays, that guy's whacking dudes with a sword real good. Some kind of card element.
This one definitely intrigued me. So I've been watching this one for a little while, but
maybe I can get a code. I'll try because it looks at least like they're doing something different.
Yeah,
which I'm always happy to support that. So, well, anyway, Liberté, join the revolution. Is it made by French people? Probably.
Maybe. I think so, because the name is French, word for liberty.
Yeah.
Liberté.
French Canadians are getting down to clown. All right. Okay. What else? I beat the Shipbreaker story. I'll tell you about the NBA Jam thing at the end. Yeah, I beat it. It was really interesting. That game is both a chorecore game, but also in story, it's like a revolutionary, like power to the worker game. And I don't mean like communism. I mean like it's an allegory for
power to the working class, I guess.
Yeah, and it's an allegory for how poorly the rich treat the common worker, and sometimes that will backfire, and the common worker will freaking will come back for your blood because you effed with them for so long. So, whether you're talking about unionization in video games or a million other issues out there.
Revolution.
So
how
the
Jeff
last
Bezos,
ship you break down is the man?
kind of. It's hard to explain why any of this works well, but I thought it worked really well, and I thought it made it very compelling to move between missions and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's still just about tearing ships apart and doing it efficiently. And there's kind of end game to it, after story stuff where working conditions have improved. You're going to get a bunch more money for what you do. It's a much better job and all of that. But now, you got to still break down ships. You're eventually going to build your own ship that you can then fly back to Earth. I don't know what any of that means yet because I'm not done. But there's still stuff to do. I still really like the loop, so I'm not done with this game. But it was an interesting story to be sure. I really enjoyed my time through that. Yes, the real ship breaking are the friends you made along the way, Tally. That is correct.
Nailed it.
Finally, I sat down with my son, who was hanging out here the other day, and we were looking for something fun to play. And we reached back all the way to 2011 for the greatest version of NBA Jam they ever made. It came out on PS3 and Xbox 360 at the time. And there were this was a made for console thing. It wasn't an arcade port or anything. It only features teams and players of the time, but it's like a way better looking version of what you think of with NBA Jam. Still looks good, like holds up incredibly well, weirdly. And we had the most freaking fun that night. We played, I don't know, 10 games. They're short and fun.
NBA Jam's awesome.
Oh, it's so good. That's a really good version of that game. I'm playing it on Series X because I already owned it and forgot that I already owned it way back. So it's just a old game that runs on the new hardware. A PS5 version, I assume may run, may not. Well, it's a PS3 game, so probably not. So now that I say that, you're probably screwed. But I don't think it's available anywhere else. It was a digital only release, and at the time it was like $20 or something. It's legit good, like really fun. So if you want some fun head-to-head and you have a way to play it, can't recommend that game enough. It's really good. Tournament Edition or something it's called, I think.
Say the game name again for
NBA Jam, I think Tournament Edition. Again, you're not going to find this anywhere, I don't think, except those old ways.
Or emulator.
Jam, let me make sure this is right. Edition. I should have looked this up before. No, it's not Tournament Edition. That was a Sega thing. Shit. Well, whatever it's called, it's some kind of name. It's got NBA Jam in it. Came out in 2011 and is available if you bought it back then, at least on your Xbox. I can't speak to PlayStation because I don't know how the backwards compatibility works. Maybe you can stream it with their new thing. I don't know. But Nick and I had a blast, yelling, screaming, rolling on the floor, laughing. It was great. Couch-based, freaking competitive NBA Jam is the best. All right, John. Yes, anything to add on V Rising's front before you tell me about the other stuff, or have we covered it all?
No. Yeah, I played a lot of stuff that I've played before. Don't really have more to say on necessarily. V Rising took up most of my time.
Yeah.
I also gave a try to Card Shark, which you talked about, I think last week was
Couple
when
weeks,
you talked about it, maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That game is good. I haven't gotten very far in it because I kind of got to where it was like, okay, open up and talk to people. And I was like, okay, I'm going to take a break. I stopped playing at that point. But
sure.
I love the art style of that. I like that the game is... It kind of lulls you into thinking it's going to be a little more tongue-in-cheek. Like with its kind of like cartoonish sort of style to it. Or not really cartoonish, but like, it's very... artsy on its style, and you think it's going to just be like a lighthearted affair, but it takes its story very seriously and is actually pretty interesting and is pretty dark even. And I dig it. I dig the vibe of the game. I like what they're showing. I like the characters, and the gameplay is fun. I haven't done a lot in it, but what I have played, I have enjoyed so far. And it kind of gave me that fun feeling of like, I'm getting away with something I shouldn't be getting away with, which is, kind of the premise. So I had a really good time with it.
Yeah, they nailed the premise, if anything, because that was the part I was most worried about. I'm like, okay, you got your cool style, fine. You got your, your story. It seems neat, but how's this going to feel when I cheat? And that's really important. And it turns out it feels really good.
How far along did you play? Because I also played this, but I played a little, probably farther.
I think you played farther than me. I just got to like the gypsy encampment.
Yeah.
Oh, that is.
Oh, yeah. I've already gone and done a few hustles. How far did you play along, Scott?
About as far as you. I've got maybe.
And what difficulty did you play on?
No, whatever the normal is.
Yeah, I picked.
Oh, did you do permadeath?
I did.
You went all the way up.
Oh my
gosh!
If I die, I die.
Wow.
So, and I'm far enough along and did enough dialogue that I'm gonna be pissed if I die. But that makes the stakes kind of real, which is kind of exciting.
Like the idea that you're doing this. Like, this is a cool way to play because it makes getting caught like have consequences.
Look, the card tricks. Okay, so what card trick did you learn? You've done 3-card Monty, John?
No, I haven't done any card tricks.
So you really just...
I'm very early. All I really did was
dip your toe in.
Yeah.
You tested the water. Okay. Scott, what card tricks did you learn?
3-card Monty. The one where you hide the card in the middle and then thumb it to the side. No one sees you do that. I forgot the name. It's an early one to learn.
I think there's one called the Unreliable Finger or something like that.
I think
really
that's the one. Yeah, they have weird names for everything, but I did that, and then the third one is well, I guess it doesn't count the one where you do the rag and what direction you do it on the table. That's not really a card trick, but
so they tutorial you some basics, but shit gets harder, man.
Yeah, it does.
So the one you're showing right now is the one where I think that's the last one I did, where you have 2 decks, and what you've got to do is when you pour the wine, he gives you a deck of cards.
Yep.
Then you say, "Oh, I'm feeling sick. I'll go to the back room." And then you go to the back room, and then you've got to take 5 of the cards out and put them in your pocket. And then you wipe the table and put it into the other deck of cards. And then, so they don't catch you, you got to get up again and take the second deck and remember which cards you pulled out of deck 1. And put them into deck 2. Not only that, but you have to thumb them out in the correct order so your guy gets the right card and not the wrong card. And holy shit, I practiced this 8 times.
Yeah.
And it's actually kind of brain busting, and you have to do it fast or the suspicion meter goes up.
Yeah, suspicion goes up.
I haven't gotten to where it's maxed out, but I'm pretty sure you die if it goes up. So it's better just to F up and then have them... Yeah, because what ends up happening is you just lose, and they're like, "Oh, you guys suck."
You lose your money.
You don't die. Yeah. But
the suspicion meter gets to the max. They'll do like a duel. You'll get shot. Although I think there are some ways to survive.
I'm
a
at
duel.
like 5 of 28 card. I'm like, what are the other 23 card tricks? I'm like, this is getting hard. Oh my god.
I'm gonna be so terrible at this game. I don't think I could play on that difficulty. I know one card trick, and it's very good at impressing people, and it requires me to remember 2 cards, and I fuck it up all the time. That's it. All I have to do is remember 2 whole cards in the whole deck of cards, and I cannot do it consistently. And it's bad. It's really bad and embarrassing. And I see this, and I'm like, how does a human being do this? How do you remember this?
This is one of those games where it's skill based, and you have to practice the skill like a real card. That's the simulator almost aspect of it. It's like if you think, I think there's a casual mode where maybe it doesn't, it's super easy. But because it's permadeath for me, I'm like, let me practice this 10 times. We have to get this right, or I'm gonna get shot. And so I'm sort of enjoying how hardcore I have to force myself to practice.
Yeah, it's really something.
The story is great. I've been reading it I streamed it and I read it in French, so everything's like, "Oh, hello, I'm Monsieur Frédéric. I want to play some cards with you."
Yeah,
doing all the French accents, and that enhances the experience.
So now I'm really invested in your playthrough because I want to know if you get killed.
Good news, I'm exporting it to YouTube. It just takes 500 hours for a nobody on YouTube to have a processed video because I cut out a smoke break.
That's true.
So it'll be up on my YouTube if you want to see the first playthrough.
Nice. I do actually, but when I'm now invested in whether you eventually.
Oh, and I made a thumbnail. I made a bow thumbnail for it. It's a big production. There's a
you went all out for it.
I went all out. I'm like, I like this game so much. I'm making a thumbnail.
Did you do the white line around you and all that like everybody?
No, I did a bad poor person one. But here, there's a sneak preview for you.
Let's see it.
It's super low res and shitty. It's great.
I like it. No, it's good. You're doing it. You do need the white outline.
Hold on, I'm looking.
Do I need a white outline?
You got something to grow towards.
Or a different color. It doesn't have to be white, but
I realized it looked all very blendy, but whatever.
There you go.
The stereotype is white for sure.
Yeah, that's what everyone else does.
There you go. Anyways, that should be up on YouTube as soon as YouTube decides to let me put it. It's been verifying for copyright, I guess, for 18 hours now. So
really,
yeah, I'm still checking.
Well, that's what you get, man. All right, excellent. That's a cool
game.
I
love this game.
I did it. That was here's my guilty. I intentionally made it as YouTube as possible.
I didn't see. Oh my god. This is
wow.
So John, it says stop it. Nope. No.
This is great.
This is the John brand. Oh my god.
Yeah, this is
also,
really on brand.
It's the only time I've ever done that for a thumbnail, and It is the most watched video on my YouTube by
It actually
Your
works. It annoys the
face
shit
is
out of me.
perfect.
It annoys
That
me
is
how
a
well it
click.
works. It just drives me crazy that it actually works, but it does.
Yeah.
That is a click for sure. That face.
Stop it. Nope. No.
Is that Warcraft, World of Warcraft stuff?
Yeah, it was WoW stuff.
Is it because that stone statue has an actual goatee on it?
Yeah. It was all about stone facial hair. It was a real issue.
Oh my lord. I
Yeah.
freaking
I
love it.
love Stop It.
I love it.
I was like, if I'm gonna do a YouTube one, I'm gonna do the only thing I'm missing is an arrow. I forgot to do an arrow pointing to something.
Well, not
you
we
know.
can't all.
So how do you do it? Do you take a photo with a different camera to ensure it's... I just used my webcam and recorded video and took a good paused it on a print screen.
That's
I
all you
just
have to
took
do.
my camera, selfie mode, clicked it, sent it to myself. You don't even have to erase the background well because you're gonna do a stupid white line around yourself.
Yeah, just do a crappy removal. Yeah.
So you just
how do you do a white line around yourself?
just double click the layer and put a stroke
just a stroke layer
effect around
Oh,
it.
you guys use Photoshop, right?
Well, I'm using these. I gave
use
up Photoshop a few years ago.
Paint.net.
You should use Affinity Photo. That's a good one. That's a good
Infinity
replacement.
Photo? Is
Yeah.
that on phone or on my PC?
Your PC or Mac, either one. Affinity Photo is like a legit. They make a bunch of competing apps, but they are buy them once. They're cheap. I love them. I really like them. The only Adobe thing I now pay monthly for is Audition for audio. That's it. Which is like $20.
Hoping for a reasonable price on this.
Yeah, it was 20. I got them. Sometimes they have sales. I got them when they were on sale for like 24, but I think they're normally for like 49. I don't know what they'd be up there, but it's a lot less than
$74.99.
It's like 49. Well, you're going to pay about that a month for Adobe. So,
Oh yeah, no, I know. I'm not complaining, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm not sure I'm going full YouTuber yet. I just did one, but
I'm
if I do,
excited.
then I probably will have to invest. Like, it makes sense. But you know, I have 85 subscribers right now. I think they don't care.
well, all
if
right.
I ever
then.
want more, I can't get more with an attitude like that.
No, not with that attitude. All right, John.
right.
What else you got?
Last thing I played was just came out today on Game Pass. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge.
How is it?
Awesome!
Oh.
Oh my gosh, this game is fun. It is a callback, a loving callback to such classics as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game, and Turtles in Time, and all of those great classic Ninja Turtle beat 'em up games that you might have played at a Peter Piper Pizza, or
Or your
other
SNES.
place.
Yeah, the SNES version was awesome.
Wherever you play it, it's so good. Like, it looks the way you want it to look. It sounds the way you want it to look. I think they might have gotten some returning voice actors because the turtles don't sound like teenagers. They sound a little tired, but that's okay. And it's fun. And I really want to get in and play this with other people. Like, it has up to 6-player co-op online. So you can, you don't have to all be together or anything like that. You get to play as all 4 turtles, as well as someone can play as April, someone can play as Splinter, and I have heard that Casey Jones is unlockable.
Oh.
But he's not on the immediate character select screen. And it's just really good. It feels like those old beat 'em up games, although maybe a little more fair because it's not after your quarters or anything like that. It's a little easier to dodge and stay alive in this game than it was some of those other ones.
Sure.
But it feels solid, and the characters feel, similar in play style. It's not an overly complicated game. It's a mashup. You're basically, hitting the same button over and over again, but it feels good in how it performs, and it's just one of those things where it's like, if you get a bunch of people, this would just be a fun game to play together.
Okay, so I bought it.
You just get it?
Yeah.
Did you buy it just now?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, 6-player multiplayer. Like, this is we need to play.
Why don't we play this?
I want us to all play it because it's just it's no stakes, like, it's just a beat 'em up. You get in there, you look at dumb cartoon characters doing dumb things like ninjas playing Game Boy games together until you walk up and then they're like, oh shit, we gotta fight.
Yeah.
Like, it's fun, it's cheesy. The Ninja Turtles are perfect for this sort of setting, and yeah, it's a good time.
Oh,
looks
it's
richly
included in Game Pass?
Yeah, it's Game Pass. That's
Oh.
why we can all. That's why we should all be able.
Bo,
to
where'd you
play
buy it? Oh, you don't have Game Pass
Steam.
right now.
I don't
Never
have
mind.
Game Pass. Yeah.
Is it it's cross?
I realized it would be cheaper to buy it, but then I wouldn't have it. You know?
Is it cross play and stuff? Like if Bo has it in Steam,
I would
and
hope so.
yeah, I would hope it'd
I
be
think
cross
I-
play.
That'd be really funny.
Yeah.
I suppose, like, can you guys please buy it in Steam so we can cross play?
Oh, here it is. Cross-platform co-op. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what also sold me, there was a review that says TMNT with Wu-Tang Clan, 10 on 10. So,
Oh my lord. Okay.
I just don't know what the Wu-Tang connection is, but
I don't know what that means, but
Right.
I'm excited to find out.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what? If you guys well, obviously it's fun. Game Pass is no brainer. I'm getting it.
Yeah,
I'll go
install
download
it. Play with us.
Yeah, I'll play. I'd love to play this. I
We'll
love
be
those old games.
turtles.
All right.
Unless we're a rat.
I'm
or
in.
a person.
All right. Well done. Hey, Bo.
Hi.
Tell me about. Oh, we talked about Card Shark. Is there anything else? to
Yeah,
say
we
about
talked
Card
about Card Shark, so we've covered again, except damn, dude, that game
Shark? Yeah, it's cool.
is a 10 on 10 so far. It's my kind of game. I love this thing.
I love that you love it. That makes me very happy.
Yeah,
I didn't steer you wrong. I hope.
No, you were so right about this game. I mean, you guys have both steered me in very good directions. John
Well,
with Disco Elysium and you with Card
You
Shark.
sit so nicely in the back of the car. You're easy to steer. You know.
You guys know me. You guys are good friends.
There you go.
Give me the straight dope on the best game. Anyway,
Damn straight.
I love this game. This is as good as Disco Elysium
Oh my lord! Look at you. All right. How's
in its own category, but
Sure,
I
sure,
give
sure.
it a 10. Yeah.
How's you've never played that Necro before. What did you think of the Necromancer in Diablo 3? You happy with it?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's.
The new Necro.
I think it's
seems
not a
more-
problem. I like the Necro. Like I enjoy it, but I'm used to playing melee characters, so I had an adjustment period. I don't know. I never have anything bad to say about Diablo 3. It can be too easy sometimes, but I just love that game a lot. And so Necro, it's more of that. It's like the abilities are very spammy. Like I can explode corpses, I can suck blood, I can, shoot bone spears.
Yeah,
It's everything you want.
it is
It's
good.
just it's hard to have the same level of attachment when you didn't progress through the main game and have an experience with the class. It's like a little different. It's like, yeah, I got to 70 in 4 hours, and yeah, I press buttons. It's cool.
Yeah,
Oh, it's fun.
I like him.
I have the legendary set. The way I've built it, it just explodes corpses on the. I devour them, and then I shoot corpse lances. It's all automatic. It feels like playing Factorio in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then devouring a corpse empowers my bone spear, and then my bone spear does super damage. You know how those sets work, right? They're all...
It is funny though that you played that, and then the new character I made in Grim Dawn is also a Necromancer. He's a hybrid, but I totally went Necro because Necro on the mind. We can't help it. It's just
Yeah.
And Necro's on the mind, and I didn't play it and paid for it. And I've played all the other classes in Diablo, except Demon Hunter. I hate Demon Hunter, but
you hate it? I didn't know that.
yeah, it's just too glass cannon, jump around, shoot arrows. Like it's, I don't like the Demon Hunter. I if you like it, great. It's not that I hate it or anything. I don't like playing it.
It's the game's newbie. It's the newbie class in the game, don't you think? Like it's the one that meant to be.
I think it's the edgy class in the game. Like, look at me, I do less damage, and I can dodge everything. I'm just like, okay, get over yourself. And then when I play it, I don't have fun playing it because it's just different types of shooting arrows. I'm like,
to me, he's just
this is
two
not-
button. He's the 2-button Terry of Diablo. It's fine for a lot of players.
guess. I don't know. I don't like. I've played it. I've just played them quickly, like to 70, and so I know so little about the nuance of the class. I just don't like it. So I like every other class in the game, just not Demon Hunter.
All right, fair enough.
But
That's a pretty good ratio. Only one out of all the classes. You're not a huge fan.
yeah. I'm well served.
I think I'm on the same boat, except Witch Doctor's the one I don't like.
Oh, I love the Witch Doctor. He's just barfing. He's just shitting and barfing everywhere. I just love it. It's just great.
Yeah, I did eventually gain an appreciation for the Witch Doctor when I went on a big like Nazebo kick on Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I went back in and I was like, I'm gonna make Nazebo in Diablo 3.
Yeah.
And I think I had more fun that go around after I had played Nazebo.
Sure.
But like just the like I'm gonna send fire dogs after people was not a fantasy that was gelling with me at the time, or toads or anything. But
Sure.
I also felt the same way about the Demon Hunter until I don't remember what set it was, but there was some set where you basically just laid down turrets everywhere, and then they all fired when you fired, and you just filled the screen with arrows, and that was magical to me at the time. So
made your own shmup.
That turned me around on them pretty hard, which seems to be the rule with Diablo 3 for me. Is there's usually at least a build that when I play it, I'm like, this is the best class in the game.
Huh.
I think I just like invincibility. That's why, like, because Wizard has like skin and like that avatar mode. You know, like they're they all build into like invincible mode. Even Necromancer's like, yep, here's my bone armor. You know, like so.
I mained the hell out of that Wizard. That's just almost all I played for most of the life of Diablo 3 for me. I tried everything, but that thing, I still go back to him. He's great. Yeah. He's also a dick. He's like, oh, hello, what am I doing here? It's just a dick. It's a huge dick.
The male wizard's pretty great, actually.
All right.
Underrated.
Oh, and you uninstalled Catalyst Black, did you? Oh man.
Yeah, well, on the heels of our discussion last week, which I've gotten a lot of, I don't know about you guys, but I've gotten a lot of outreach and compliments on our conversation about Diablo Immortal. Yeah. And it's the kind of thing where that was the second week running that we talked about it, and I know it's an important issue, but at the same time, we don't always want to focus on the negatives, so I was hoping not to talk about it too much this week, just because there's so much great stuff to look at. But I uninstalled it because I realized, forget the mobile gaming aspect for a second, but the problem with phone games, for me, is I play games throughout the day. So when I go to bed, sometimes I might watch a little TV. I might check out a video. I might put podcast in. When I have a game that I like to play on the phone, I might do that at 1 in the morning when I should just be hitting bed. And then I end up staying up later than I need to. So I uninstalled Diablo Immortal, which is not a problem for me, but Catalyst was keeping me up.
Yeah.
And I've been getting better sleep all week. And I was like,
that's as good.
I was like, there's a connection. Like, games on my phone, even from a life management perspective, is getting me more hours of sleep. Just because I can't. They want to addict you. Like, some of the model is just do your dailies. If you're free to play player, especially, which I was in Catalyst Black. Oh, I need to upgrade my guns, so let me log in and get my dailies done. And what seems to be like a couple games for 20 minutes turns into an hour and a half, and it's 3 a.m. And I'm like, I got to work tomorrow. Oh, no. So for me, for my life management, mobile games are pretty toxic. So
this is a very interesting take because, and again, in an effort to, just like you said, we don't want to talk about it every week or make too big of a deal out of it, but I hadn't ever thought about it until tonight when you just said, I guess, okay, let me put it this way. It hadn't occurred to me just how much the problem is that these devices have become crucial into society. Everybody's got this, and it's all in our pockets, and we rely on them, and we stay in touch with them, and it's how we know what's going on. It's how I know my wife needs me. It's how I know my kids need me. Whatever. Like, this thing has become...
I get anxiety when I'm away from mine, because I'm like, what if I have a heart attack? I don't have a lifeline.
Yeah, you need your phone. Like, it's a thing that at least we think we do. And to make that then also a source of like, I gotta dig into this game and play this all night on this thing that's also trying to get me to do 500 other things. Like, I hadn't really thought of it that way. This isn't
kind of held hostage. That's why they're making $61 billion.
Like, this isn't a Game Boy. It can play. It can do things that Game Boys wish they could, but it's not. It's like a communication device that we're also making. I just hadn't thought of it that way. I don't know.
It's a phone, but we lack regulation on it or boundaries. Like, you think about a lot of things in life, you set boundaries. Like with friends, like don't call me past 11 o'clock because don't call me on Friday nights because Fridays I spend. We set boundaries all the time, but somehow this is a device of no boundaries.
Yeah.
I mean, privacy, there's a lot of privacy and security stuff, so maybe there are some boundaries, but in terms of commerce, floodgates are open.
Well, some of them are like, like Apple's got a whole thing where they're like, here's the ways of telling yourself you spent too much time doing this. And every week we'll give you a report saying where you're spending all your time. So you can evaluate whether you want to have that much time on Twitter or whatever. Like you can limit it, and you can do this for your kids, parental controls and everything. I appreciate that stuff. Google does a bunch of this as well. But at the end of the day, those are just like suggestions. None of this is set in stone.
You know what my big addiction is that I realize I can't face YouTube.
Oh, really?
So I
barely go to YouTube
for the longest time. I had low tech phones because the best I could get on it were podcasts, audio feeds like RSS feeds, and phone. And I like that world. Ever since the last two phones I've had high capability on the phones. This phone, by the way, I didn't buy it. It's an Apple 11. It was my friend Mike found it by the river.
What? That's
he was
amazing.
He was walking by. It was low tide. Someone left it there, and he picked it up and tried to give it back. He had it for a while, and he said, "I can't find the person who owns it. I can't turn it on and get in." And I'm like, "Well, I know how to wipe it, but it's still probably got an ID on it." But I'm like, "Well, whatever. If they come to claim it, I'll give it back."
Mm-hmm.
But if not, my phone. And it's my phone. It's a river phone.
It's the river phone. You got it down by the river. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And
that's amazing.
And I'm like, oh, sweet, this is great. But now I'm like, this is way too much functionality for me. Like, I basically, what I'm trying to say is my podcast hours have reduced. And because I have a YouTube sub, I'm just listening to all these YouTube videos. And sometimes it's great, but there's a reason why I'm like, I hate streamers. It's because I'm kind of addicted to loading up streamer videos. Like, I know I kind of trash on Asmongold a lot, but I'm like, the denier's the guiltiest one. I'm like, it's because I'm the clickbait for Diablo is so good right now. I throw it on audio only and walk home and listen to that, and I'm just like, this is garbage for me. I need to stop listening to this stuff.
Yeah.
But I keep coming back to it, and I'm like, I'm addicted to YouTube right now. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And I kind of don't like it.
YouTube's a dark drug, man. It's not just the kids; it's the old guys too.
I think it's the way they, there's always something new every day. There's a new cigarette every day, right? It's not like, because lectures are great, but they take a lot of work to put together. There's a new one every day. No scientist is like, well, time to have like 1,000 pages of research done every 24 hours.
Yeah.
To say something interesting. So the material dries up, and then you go to the lowest common denominator. Next thing you know, you're listening to a stream about XQC rating all the streamers, and you're like, "What am I doing?
What am I listening doing?" To this? Yeah. I know. I feel you. I do this with TikTok. TikTok's a problem for me.
Yes, TikTok is a massive addiction.
Yeah, they're really good.
I've used TikTok all of 2 days. And I went on both times to spend 15 minutes and walked away 5 hours later going like, holy shit,
gosh.
My evening is gone.
It's bad.
Watching 10-second videos.
Yeah.
But there's this cute Korean girl that does like cute little video jokes and skits and stuff. And all of a sudden I've watched her entire catalog and I'm like, oh no. I don't want to spend my time, so I uninstalled it. That's why I don't have it.
You also taught the algorithm. Geez. You taught the algorithm that you want more of that, and it'll give that to you. Like it's a never-ending well of what you actually like. And
but yeah, I'm the same way with Bo's addiction to YouTube. Like I have YouTube up most of the time when I'm gaming now, and it's like everything from like. It is like streamer videos, sure, video game analysis, sure, trailers, stuff like that. Like that's all fine. Reaction content, all your typical stuff. But like it goes so far down that like there was a time where I was following somebody. I don't even like cats that much.
Yeah.
But I was watching like the lives of this family of cats. And like I knew all their names and I could tell my wife what all the names of these cats were and what their personalities were like. And there was just this moment where it's like, what am I doing? I don't even like cats that much. Why the hell do I know 5 different cats' names and what they're doing on a day-to-day basis? What's going on? What am I doing with my entertainment right now?
Yeah.
But that's...
It can make you ask that question.
What it is.
Yep.
I don't necessarily regret it, but there's definitely a moment where you have to look yourself in the mirror and go, what the hell am I doing right now?
That's why this Dally Mini thing's been such a fun, stupid side thing, because it's not that... I don't know.
Oh yeah, and that was another thing. I didn't know what anybody was doing. They kept posting crappy images, and I had no idea what it was. But people were just like, "Look," I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
And then I found the website because I was finally curious about it, and I was like,
Yeah, it's
okay,
like a
I gotta
road with
try
no.
one of these.
It's
And
like a
next
road
thing
with
you
no
know-
street signs because you finally find it, but you find the real one that doesn't have it available. Like it's the mini dolly, not the actual dolly. So when I was searching for it, it was like, where are people getting it? Why is this irritating site just explaining the technology to me?
Yeah.
It took some digging,
Took
and
some
now
time.
everyone's using it, so I can't use it.
Sure enough.
Yeah, you gotta click it like 9 or 10 times.
Yeah, you got to
before
keep your
get one to
trying.
go.
The thing is not the meta game there is bad. I don't like having to retry
It's a
500
bad
times.
meta. It's a bad
It
dolly
sucks.
meta.
Well, and then
sucks.
it's a long wait for sometimes things that don't work. Like I really wanted to see Darth Vader wearing a VR headset. I don't know why, but that was important to me. And I couldn't get it to show me it. And so not only did I have to wait for that extended period of time for it to do the search multiple times, but I could never actually get it to work. I tried Darth Vader wearing a VR headset, Darth Vader wearing an Oculus Rift. Like I just tried all these things. I just kept getting stupid pictures of vaguely Darth Vader, and I was like, it's not working.
Yeah.
I
And
just wasted so much time trying to make it work.
And it's like rolling dice because if you put the same exact result in, it'll do 9 new images.
Oh yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
So
It's never the same.
yeah.
Not entirely the same, but yeah. I just did Optimus Prime shopping at Target. We'll see what it does after we finish the show. Well, there you go, everybody. That is going to be about it for the show. A quick reminder that you think all this is, you hear us talk and you think, man, these guys sure are good at what they do, and I sure like listening to the show. Well, if you really feel that way, then belly on up to the Patreon at patreon.com/core show and help us out, because that goes a long way to keep us on the air. That's patreon.com/core show. Everything else is at frogpants.com/core. And like I said, we put up a bunch of commentary audio of us talking about the announcements last week. If you missed all of that, it's on the RSS feed for everybody. So go check it out and give that stuff a listen. If you'd like our gut reactions to things we saw, we all got a little too excited about Hot Wheels tracks in Forza 5, I thought.
I know. I think that was probably the thing we were most uniformly excited about, and it's a weird thing, but that's fine. Hey, you know what? We got excited about what we got.
Sure, why not?
I think that was the best thing out of all of everything announced.
It was pretty great.
So.
It was pretty great, and I can't wait to play it. Is it out? It's not out yet, right? That's a ways off. Anyway, I want to play that. That's it for the show. Before we go, we got to go around the horn and have everybody give us a little bit of words of wisdom here. John, let's start with you. What do you got?
Hi everybody, Jod here. Boy, we sure had some fun today. Remember, if you want people to like your video game more, put it through a couple cycles in the washing machine and see what people think.
That's good advice for all the struggling devs that hear the show for the first time. Bo, anything to add?
No, man. I just want to say I love you guys. And I'm sorry if I'm painting you guys in a corner.
No, you never do.
Just to crack jokes or anything like that. So
No,
you're good.
I mean it.
I was grumpy tonight because going off of something Bo said, hey, it turns out sleep's important. And I feel like I haven't slept for a week.
Yeah.
So
I've been there.
You had a
like
lot going
the new
on.
house is something to adapt to. So
Oh, congrats on your move.
At some point, I will have slept, and you'll get to hear
A well-rested John.
less cranky.
Yeah, less cranky. That's fine.
You made it, and all of the walls are white.
I'll
but I'm
take
sure
you.
that'll change
I'll take
pretty
you
quick.
to in any form you feel like showing yourself. So no salt lost here. That's not even a phrase. I made that up. All right.
No salt lost.
Yeah, no. Use that, everybody. It's free. No salt lost here. Whatever that
Put
means.
that in the kitchen.
Well, those are your words of wisdom this week.
Yeah, In fact, I'm gonna write this down. Salt lost here, and I'm gonna use it for today's title. How about that?
Hey, there we go.
Core
we got to the
319.
title at the very end.
No salt lost here. All right, that'll do it for us. Thank you all for listening. Go play some games. There are surely plenty of them, as we learned today. And we'll be back next time with more on Core. We'll see you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Yes. Get more at frogpants.com.
Hello, China.
All right.
You son of a core.
You son of a
Hello,
core.
China.
Hello, China. John does sound a little bit like him. You do a good Mike Morheim. Okay, my wife is waving me down saying she's got steaks waiting for me. I'm gonna
Oh, man.
I'm gonna go eat those. Oh my gosh, that sounds good. Even though it's 8:43 and I shouldn't eat this late, but whatever.
It's the best time for steak.
That sounds
Go get it.
amazing. So I'm gonna go do that.
Yeah, you do that. Have a
Amazing
great
show
night.
tonight, as always.
Yeah.
Well done, everybody.
Big one.
Yeah, big one. We knew it would be. It's like seeing it's a big penis. Wait, what? All right, I gotta go. We'll talk to you later. Hey, thanks everybody for listening, watching, hanging out with us tonight. We really appreciate it. As always, there's a bunch more content tomorrow. My brain is dead, so I can't tell you what, but we'll see you then.